Hey, Wild fans, you want your family to be warm and comfortable during our Minnesota winters, right? That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable and friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your heating system running safely and efficiently, no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems and ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Hey, Minnesota Wild fans, fuel up for game day with Just Bear Chicken, the official chicken of the Wild. At Just Bear Chicken, we believe the best meals start with the best ingredients. That is why all our chickens are raised with no antibiotics ever, so you can enjoy delicious and nutritious chicken with confidence. Find Just Bear Chicken in the fresh or frozen aisle at your local grocery store today. And let's go wild.
Meet MVP Logistics, proudly rooted in Minnesota. They're like the perfect pass, precise and reliable, delivering excellence from their home rink to yours. MVP Logistics is your go-to team for logistics and supply chain solutions. With over 150 years of industry leadership, their expert team delivers customer-centric strategies with a commitment to winning. Don't play shorthanded. Leverage MVP Logistics to be your most valuable partner in supply chain. Visit MVPLogistics.com for supply chain solutions made simple.
Hey, Wild fans, this is Marc-Andre Fleury.
Fleury out the challenge, Ovechkin in, took a shot, Fleury the glove save!
Wild Hockey starts now.
Flashing up his left arm and the Wild win!
Wild Hockey on your radio is presented by...
All eyes on me.
Your Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers, doing whatever it takes since 1904. Excel Energy, Anderson Windows and Doors, love the life you see. Catalyst Supply Co., boost your build. Toyota, official vehicle of the Minnesota Wild.
Let's play hockey.
Tria Orthopedics, official team physicians of the Minnesota Wild. And by Acrosure, helping you take care of what you care about. Find out more at acrosure.com.
And now, live from the arena, here's Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell.
From the Al Shaver Press Box, Excel Energy Center, St. Paul, Minnesota. The Wild and the Islanders. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed here with you. Dr. Joel Boyd, one of the orthopedic surgeons for the team, doing Let's Play Hockey.
Let's play hockey!
Good work, Doc Boyd.
Yeah, medical staff led by Dr. Sheldon Burns has done a great job with this organization since the beginning. And I think every one of us who have been connected with the team at some point will come across those doctors. I've been to them many times already. And I'm still here, so whatever they're doing is working.
That's the ticket. So the Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the opening period. We're in their retros tonight, the 78s. Islanders from left to right in the opening frame in their white jerseys. Sorokin and Gustafsson, the goaltending matchup. And we're underway from St. Paul. Again, the Islanders played last night in Winnipeg. Coughed up a lead, lost 4-3 in regulation, but Patrick Waugh very complimentary of how they played defensively in the first and the third period. Said they lost too many coverages defensively in period two in that 4-3 loss a night ago. Berdine smashes the puck in from center. Sorokin out to handle it and floated free for a clearing attempt by Tony DeAngelo. It's grabbed and carried along by Anthony Duclair. Duclair wanted the center. Swiped away by Boldy, who peels to his left. That Boldy without a point in his last 5 games. He'll be heading, of course, to the Four Nations face-off with Team USA. We'll see if Boldy can maybe find a little bit of momentum heading into that international competition with a good game here tonight.
Yeah, and that's what he's looking for right now, just to get back on track again. I mean, if you're a goal scorer, a point getter, you got to get points, you got to get goals, and right now he is struggling a little bit.
Vinny Hinostroza tries to clear out right side. He had the game winner in his Wild debut on Thursday night. That puck hit an Islander player and ends up in the Wild bench.
Yeah, and this is a good start for Minnesota. This is where you want to play well, especially in front of your own hometown fans, and that's an area has not been good for Minnesota. They're 500 at home. They've gone 12-12 and 1 in that stretch. That they have given up 17 more goals at the home than they have scored. So that's been a big problem for them all season long.
Off the draw, Hinostroza lugs it along. Looked for Faber, who's joining the rush. Hinostroza trying to chase to it. Good forecheck pressure here and speed by Hinostroza, who cuts left wing corner after coming up with that puck. Now Marcus Johansson. To the right point, Faber a shot. Hinostroza tipped it wide. He ended up in a heap. Wanted a call, none coming. Marcus Johansson centers. Hinostroza taps to the point, Middleton. D to D Faber on the pop-out play. Hinostroza at the right point, wristing one that hit a body. Kicks free, and the Islanders have numbers if they hurry. It's a 4-on-2 if New York wants it. Pageau through the slot. A shot caught the glass. Nearly came off the end wall. As New York there trying to find that late help off the rush.
And so often, Joe, when you start a game like this, you're really anxious. You want to get a goal, so you kind of press a little bit more so, and that's what Minnesota was doing. As a result of that, they got caught a little bit in a change there, and an odd man rush going against them. But unfortunately for Minnesota, the puck missed its mark.
Faber up ice. Pass went errant, no icing. Islanders chop it along, force it out to the neutral zone. Liam Ogren digging for it. Islanders step over the line. Kustadinov defends well, just ahead of Pierre Engvall. Now Merrill around his own net. Muscles it free, and with the help of Foligno, the Wild gallop ahead. Comes the way of John Merrill, who was scratched Thursday. John Hines has been saying, though, that Merrill's played some of his best hockey in a Wild sweater recently, but odd man out Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, no question about it, but he gets a chance to play now because of the fact that Joel Eriksson Ek is out of the lineup.
Yep, 11 forwards and 70, and empty the tank game is what John Hines said. And also kind of told us, Tom, after his general media session, that he didn't want this game to be one where the team at the end of the year looks back and said, oh, you know, we let one slip away against the Islanders. There's a battle here to the right of Gustafsson, and he'll just jump on top of the loose puck, meaning should the Wild miss the playoffs by a point, 2 points, whatever, he didn't want his group to look back and go, well, it was the last game before the break and we just weren't ready. He said that would be kind of his message to the team.
Yeah, and that would be the message also. If I was talking to the team, I'd say, forget about what's happening tomorrow. This is the most important game of the year right now for this hockey club. You want to go out in a winning way. Minnesota winning the other night was a big plus for them. If they get 2 in a row before the break and have their mindset when they come back. They have a 2-week break, so they've got to be ready when they step back, too. Got to make sure they're in shape every day.
Of course, it should help keep the Wild focused with this Islanders team having won 8 of 10, and they are also hoping to find some clarity to their playoff futures. Duclair in tight with a shot. Rossi got a piece of it, deflecting it high and wide. Islanders come in 4 points out of the final wild card playoff spot, currently held by the Red Wings because they have been on fire since their coaching change. Boldy over the blue line, dropped it off. Rossi scores! A twisted wrister for Marco Rossi. Good setup by Boldy and the Wild on the game's first goal.
Yeah, big goal for Rossi, but also at the same time, a big point for Boldy, too, to get his mind in that frame where he can make something happen. For Rossi, that's a huge goal for him. The youngster out of Austria has scored now 19 goals on the year, and he's got 28 assists to go along with that. But a huge goal. That first goal is always so important in Minnesota. When they score first, their record is 23-8-1 in the 33 times, now 34 times that they have scored first.
Well, the Islanders are in this spot a lot. They have scored first, including tonight just 21 times, fewest in the NHL. And the Wild now, as Tom said, have scored first 34 times. That's tied for the most in the National Hockey League. And the Islanders get it right back. A wrist shot to the right of Gustafsson, and flinging it home, Kyle Palmieri, who's been hot in his own right. That's his 4th goal in the last 6 games.
Rossi from Boldy and Spurgeon, United for the Wild.
Just 13 seconds between the 2 goals.
Might have been offside entering the zone. The Wild coaches, they always look at replays on their bench, but just the one quick glance I got over the blue line, it was close.
The referee will go over and discuss it with John Hines also to see if they want to challenge it.
See if we can get another look. Oh, they are going to play on.
No, they're saying it's not offside, so...
Palmieri had a confused, sort of bewildered look on his face. So Rossi's 19th, Palmieri's 16th, seconds apart, and it's 1-1. Well, again, the Islanders used to trailing in hockey games 1-0. It's pretty much been their MO as puck ends up here out of play.
16th goal of the season for number 21, Kyle Palmieri, assisted by number 29, Brock Nelson, and number 7, Maxim Siplikov. Time of the goal, 3:32.
And of course, Brock Nelson out of War Road, Minnesota, played for the Warriors in high school there from 2007, 2010, and he knows where to put the puck. He picks up assist number 18 on the year for him to go along with 16 goals.
Offensive zone draw for the Wild to the left of Sorokin. Ilya Sorokin stopped 23 of 27, losing in Winnipeg last night. That ended his personal 7-game winning streak. Islanders won 7 in a row as a team from January 18th through February the 1st. Their backup, Jakub Skaric, has just one NHL game. It came just under a week ago when he suffered a loss against the Panthers on the road.
Icing call going against Minnesota. Long stretch passes on both these teams right now, and that'll bring the faceoff back deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of the man they call Gus. Gus seems to have found his game again also, Joe, just watching him perform, and there's nothing that brings more joy to a player than winning hockey games, and if you can be a part of that and have the success, that really helps.
Zizekas to Holmstrom up, Kappa shot, caught the glass. Boy, a few times already in this game, the Islanders buzzing the tower of Philip Gustafsson with some high risers. Holmstrom on a reset, laid it back, good up ice dish by Pageau, or for Pageau. It comes to Casey Zizekas, the Islanders team leader in the hit department. They'll roll it behind the Wild net. Merrill flipped it to the right side. Foligno digs it free, skates through center, and weaves it in. Back for it, Romano. Former Montreal Canadian, Alexander Romano, sits behind his own net. Fed a pass that hit the skates of Gatcombe. Will grab it, come through center, knife it in. Engvall in the forecheck, Pierre Engvall. Forcing it free, McLean. Kyle McLean to Engvall. Engvall cycles up high, rolled one into the cross corner. Gustafsson turns to his right to watch the two teams battle for it. Where Hustadinov came up with it, forced it to Foligno, and back to Marat Hustadinov. Hustadinov hits the red line and fires it in. Islanders finishing a line change. Just over 5 minutes gone by in the first. Wild from right to left on your radio dial. It's 1-1 here in St. Paul's. McLean tossed it in. It clanged off Spurgeon. Not cleared by the Wild. Handed along now for Palmieri's side angle shot. That hit the outside of the net. Siplikov tried to roll it back in front. Second effort will play it to the point. Perunovic over to the left side for Pelech, who just fired it down low. Siplikov now trying to angle this puck in front. Grabbing it, Johansson will force the issue out the center, and a good stick lift by Trenyon allows the Wild to steal. Yakov Trenyon works in with a shot. Stick save by Sorokin. Counter hit and a good one by Trenyon, dumping Brock Nelson to the ice. Brodin now at the point fires a wrister. It's blocked. Brodin able to hold it and hack it down low. Yakov Trenyon, the opening goal Thursday night, was looking for Johansson. That went a touch awry, and the Wild have to regroup at center.
Yeah, just watching Brodin with the puck right now. Just wait until everybody gets on the ice to make his next play.
Brodin forces it to Middleton. Jake Middleton. Up ice for Rossi, who has the Wild goal. Able to flop it in and try and chase to it against Romano. Rossi dug it free, at least partially. It ends up in the slot. Boldy reaching for it. He fired just wide. Bounces back out in front. Rossi trying to deflect it loose with his skate for Boldy, and the Islanders pitch it the other way.
Boy, this has been a good skating game so far at this point, Joe. Both teams moving the puck very well.
Boldy had just one shot Thursday. Mentioned no points his last 5, but has an assist already in the opening 7 minutes of this game, and he's been impactful so far. Middleton joins the rush. Couldn't handle a pass from Zuccarello, but chases to it left wing side offensive zone. Spun it to the point. Boldy covering back there for Middleton. Unleashed a long shot. That's in the glove of Ilya Sorokin. Good pace thus far. 13:07 to go. Opening stanza here in St. Paul. It's 1-1 between the Wild and the Islanders. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
For Valentine's month, we've got a little something for the lovers.
Hey, it's me, Maxwell, and for the month of February, it's just you and me.
Maxwell is taking over.
Sirius XM Silk is
Maxwell's Serenade Radio. Playing timeless R&B slow jams.
all month long.
Channel 330 and on the Sirius XM app.
And I want you to be my Valentine.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go.
NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Well, 13:07 to go here in period number one. Right now it's a 1-1 game between the Islanders, the visitors, and of course home team, the Wild. The goal by Minnesota. Rossi is 19th of the season. Palmero gets number 16 for the Islanders. Face-off deep in the Islanders zone.
Rossi on the draw against Pajot. Pajot won 8 of 10 face-offs last night in Winnipeg. Islanders are the top team in the face-off circle, 55.3%. They have 7 skaters at 50% or better. And here, the game's first penalty is going to go to Minnesota. Rossi trying to hunt down a puck.
Yep.
Did he clip him?
It's going to be a high stick. They'll check out to make see if there's any type of an injury. I don't think there was, but we'll find out.
Minnesota number 3, minor penalty, high stick in.
Well, we don't have a number 3.
Well, then it
doesn't count.
We're okay.
Yeah. So Rossi, 23 in your program. Number 1 in your hearts.
Yep. 7:01 the time of the penalty to Rossi.
It's a high stick.
Minnesota number 23, Marco Rossi, 2 minutes for a high
crowd doesn't like it.
High sticking minor on Rossi.
Shots right now are 3-2 in favor of the Islanders. Minnesota scored first. 12 seconds later, it was the Islanders coming back with a big goal.
Islanders power play scored just once over the last 8 games. They're dead last in the NHL at 11.7%. Perunovic to Nelson. Brock Nelson, a goal line pass, took a quick return feed, snapped it up top. Perunovic skates across the line, filters it back to Nelson. Right circle, pivots, waits, shoved one in front, tipped away from Palmieri for a moment by Goudreau. Puck not cleared. Scott Perunovic from Hibbing, Minnesota, the former St. Louis Blue, holds in. Now to Nelson. Tapped along, back to Nelson. A drive, stopped by Gustafsson. Strong save there. Rebound set in a dangerous spot for a moment. The Wild poked it away from trouble. Islanders keep in. Nelson rips it to the left side. Back up top becomes Boquist. To Nelson, a tough angle shot at the outside of the goalpost. And Gustafsson jumps on top of it. Boy, you wouldn't know the Islanders have the worst power play percentage in the league, Tom.
But they are moving the puck here right now. They are geared up for this, and no question about it. I understand that there's like over 100 guest passes that were given out for the Islanders in this hockey game tonight with family and friends in the area. Of course, they got a number of players from Minnesota playing for the Islanders right now.
Minnesota native Hudson Fasching not in the lineup. As the Islanders have it here, Duclair, he hammered it wide from the right circle. Fasching, one of a couple of players that's not on IR, but still hasn't played in a couple of weeks for the Islanders. Point shot here blocked. Bouncing puck, trickles around, left wing corner. Brodin hustles to it, ratcheted one off the glass, and all the way down.
Well, that went right over the linesman head also. That was Killian McNamara, the linesman, had to get out of the way of that one.
Wild penalty kills, been perfect in 2 straight games, 2 for 2 on Thursday night. They sit 29th in the league. Here's Anthony Duclair, bottom of the right circle, tossing one in front. Anders Lee had a couple of chops at it. Gustafsson able to hang on.
Yeah, and Lee doing his job out there. Big body also, 6'3", 231 pounds out of Edina. Went to St. Thomas, his high school years, and then on to the Edina Hornets. We played for a couple of years there as well. But the Islanders are skating well, Joe. They're moving their feet, and as a result of that, they're getting opportunities. Right now, the shots are 5-2 in favor of the visitors.
Nelson and Goudreau on the face-off. 28 seconds to go in the Wild power play. Goudreau won it back, and Gustafsson had to be quick to flash out his left pad. Minnesota lasers it through center. Perunovic cut it off, turned it over. New York offside here. Nelson doesn't care, apparently. He was still pressuring up ice. Now he bails out. And that gives the Wild a bit of time and space. Brodin off the left wing boards all the way down. 5 seconds from now, Rossi jumps out of the box. Islanders pushing the pace here with Perunovic over the blue line. Fed one left side. It's swung back to the point now. Siplikov. He played last year in the KHL. Islanders signed him. And is now at the point Perunovic again. Over for Boquist. Back to Perunovic. Hacked it towards the slot. Palmieri. Poke checked. Merrill. Moved it quickly. Now Goudreau launching one ahead. Swat out of midair by Perunovic, but he lost it. And then he infracted with Foligno, and we got 2 sticks on the ice. One is Perunovic.
Yeah, it's going to be a penalty also.
The other belongs to Foligno.
Okay, wait for the official to get over there to make sure we get the right call.
New York spell number 26, minor penalty for holding.
Holding is the call, and it's going to be number 26 going to the penalty box right now. And, of course, you talk about Perunovic out of Hibbing, Minnesota. Won the Hobie Baker back in 2020.
Number 26, Scott Perunovic.
And I think he gets a chance to play a little bit more so now because of the fact he's with a team that I think can utilize his defensive skills.
Wild power play 0 for 3 Thursday. Last 4 games 0 for 11. 18.4% on the year. Islanders penalty kill, just 71.1%. That's second to last. So their power play is dead last. Their PK second to last. And yet here they are still sniffing around a playoff spot. Onside the Wild after a clear out by the Islanders off the draw. Faber right point. Over to Zuccarello left wing side. They'll attack towards the hash marks. Now above the goal line Zuccarello. Up top Faber. Long for Boldy. A drive. Blocked. Boldy got to it. Slashed it down low. Romanov couldn't clear. Hinostroza now. Getting some power play time in just his second game with the Wild. Remember, late in his debut Thursday night, he was on the ice in the extra attacker situation with the Wild defending a lead. Here's Rossi to Boldy. Back to Faber. Hacked along Zuccarello. Wade shoots one, blocked, and at the backside of Rossi. Jabbing at it, Hinostroza. Come out of the pile with the puck. Hinostroza fires a shot. That tipped wide. Boldy hustles to the rebound. High slot, middle of the ice, Faber waited, fired a shot, Sorokin the save. Rossi looking for the rebound. It was jabbed away at the last moment. Islanders force it up, not out. Boldy keeps in. Matt Boldy, right circle, risking a shot. Sorokin save. Boldy banging the rebound as he cut through the slot. But the bouncing puck wouldn't sit down. 50 seconds to go in the power play. Wild buzzing. Boldy will push the broken stick, and Islanders stick out of the way as he handles his puck. Fed one to Faber for a shot. Right kick save Sorokin. Comes back to Boldy. This rebound left side. He tries to center. Skipped off a body. Zuccarello rescues it. Right wing circle. Matt Zuccarello to center point Faber. Boldy calling for it left side. Took a shot to the back post. Sorokin made that stop. And the rebound not cleared again. 9 minutes to go opening period. Wild power play winding down. Boldy curls above the goal line left wing circle now. Boldy waits. Boldy still dancing with the puck. Turned it the way of Zuccarello. They'll switch places. 15 to go on the man advantage. Zuccarello cuts down behind the net of Sorokin. Angles out towards the right side. Zuccarello up top to Boldy. Left circle Rossi. Back across the grain it comes Zuccarello. Back across for Rossi, and it clanged off his skates. Power play is over. Zuccarello has it. Waits some more. Shoots one. Sorokin the save. Poking away for the rebound was Rossi. Nothing there. And a whistle.
Boy, both these teams have had good power plays. They're both moving the puck very well. Minnesota doing a good job also. Not only just the speed of the passes, but the accuracy of the passes on both sides. So that penalty is over. We've got 8:28 to go here in the first period. Tied up at 1 apiece.
We'll take a break. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Hey Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch game day snacks at your local grocery stores to make game day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild!
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch, the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Snappy Old Dutch potato chips.
Scoreboard update.
Finals from earlier today, including the Devils going into Montreal and blanking the Canadiens 4-rip. Jake Allen, the shutout on 34 saves. The Lightning doubled up the Red Wings in Detroit. 6-3 was the final there. The Hurricanes ripped the Utah Hockey Club 7-3 in Raleigh. And in Boston, the Golden Knights survived against the Bruins. Tomas Hertl scored late in regulation to give the Golden Knights the 4-3 victory in Beantown. Those are your finals. Back to Joe and Tom.
Well, Tom Reed's hotline is back tonight and most nights following the second period. Text in your comments at 64686, and one random listener will win a pair of tickets to see the Wild in an upcoming home game or possibly dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub.
Face off to the left of Ilya Sorokin, who had 200 career games this season.
He's played that many games this season? 200?
Career.
Oh.
No wonder why his numbers are so good.
No wonder he's so tired.
Johansson fights past some pressure offensive zone. Cuts down below the goal line. Sped it around to Goudreau. Handled it well off the end wall. But then his pass sort of in between a couple of Wild players. And it rolls all the way back into Minnesota ice. Didn't get to that trapezoid-shaped area, so Gustafsson could knock him out and help his defense. Spurgeon then had to absorb a hit. The Islanders come up with his puck on the forecheck. Tony DeAngelo rolled it down low. Brodin had his stick slashed out of his hands. Play continues. Holmstrom tries to pick it up. Goudreau took it from him momentarily. And now it's rolled back at the point where DeAngelo takes a look. Fed it left side back to Tony DeAngelo. Now left circle. A shot stopped by Gustafsson. Good chance there for Scott Perunovich, who pinched in. Perunovich gets back on this puck, found Holmstrom for a wrister. Blocker save Gustafsson. Holmstrom now, offensive zone left wing corner, stripped to this puck, and Liam Ogren carries the Wild ahead. Tried to fight through a hit of Stiplikov, and he did well. Ogren got bumped down, maintained puck possession, carries over the blue line now left side, and rims it around the wall.
And that's the second effort coming into play on that one, no question about it.
Well, if there is ever a doubt that either of these two teams would not be ready for this one, I think it's been put to rest. It's been a spirited contest. Trennier on the forecheck dug it free. He wanted to wind it to the blue line, broken up. Foligno hustles to it, charged it around the wall. Faber pitches in, stops and sprays away from some trouble. Down to the right wing corner. It's Trennier. Back to the point, Faber. D to D. Middleton surveys. Finds Foligno on the pop-out play. He'll bank it down low. Just a touch too far for Husnudinov. Islanders fail to clear. Here's Yakov Trennier, left circle. Shooting one. Sorokin deep in his net. Able to hold it with his right arm up to his body.
Yeah, good shot by Trennier coming off that left wing once again there, right on the net line. Because Sorokin was afraid to move there for fear he's going to drop it. But taking a shot, and Trenier's really picked up his game also for Minnesota. You look at right now, he's picked up 11 points, 5 of those being goals. And the faceoff is going to take place in the Islander zone. Minnesota had 5 shots, Joe, on that power play that they credited him with. Now that could change, as we know, by the end of the century.
Yeah, they like to do that. They keep us guessing, Tom.
We are guessing.
Through the neutral zone, Perunovich lofts in. Back is Bogosian, taps along to Zuccarello, rink wide feed for Boldy. Carving through the neutral zone, Matt Boldy, slowed down and forced back out to center by Pelech just as he hit the offensive line. Boldy now with a pass at the skates of Engvall, grabbing at Bogosian. He tried to backhand it around his net. Deflects, but finds Zuccarello. Launched a long feed ahead that ricocheted off some skates. Leaks into the Islander zone. And Romanov's back to grab it before finding Adam Pelech. His 10th season with the Islanders for the 30-year-old Adam Pelech. At the offensive blue line comes Anthony Duclair. Checked off the puck. It ricochets free. Husnudinov charging to it. Deep into the Islander zone, left wing side. Got run into by Duclair. Fought through that pressure. Boldy at the end of his shift. Knifes it around the wall. Spurgeon pinches in. Jared Spurgeon a side angle shot. Sorokin the save. Scouting report from John Hines this morning is this Islanders team You want to shoot pucks. You want to get to the net front. Now, at the other end, the Islanders are really good at the net front. They dump a lot of pucks in. They forecheck heavily, and they are good in front of the opposition's cage. So this is a blue paint game, according to the Wild head coach John Hines. Got a timeout here. 5:27 to go, opening period. Good one so far. The Wild and the Islanders locked up at a goal apiece. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Wild fans, score up to $2,600 in tax credits when you upgrade your home comfort system by purchasing a qualifying Bryant Evolution heating and cooling system. And with a 10-year replacement warranty from Bryant, you'll have peace of mind for a decade. Contact your local Bryant dealer and ask about tax credits, local rebates, and financing available for qualified buyers. Visit Bryant.com for more details. Bryant, whatever it takes, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, 5:27 to go here. Very spirited first period. Also, shots right now at Minnesota in the lead 10-7, but they had 5 of those shots came with the man advantage. At still a 1-1 game. Face-off in the neutralized area.
Well, the Islanders have outshot their opponent 4 of the last 5 games. We've talked about, or I have a lot lately, the Wild have not been out shooting their opponent much. Outshot in 7 of the last 10. 30 or more shots for Minnesota just twice in the last 16 games. But they're off to a good start here. Trying to stick to that game plan of getting pucks and bodies to the front of the Islanders' cage. Here's Spurgeon outside the right circle, trying to shoot one. Cizikas blocked it, and Casey Cizikas carved it up. Leaping attempt by Hustadinov to hold in. He couldn't. Pajot floats to Simon Holmstrom, back in front, with Pajot going that way, but Spurgeon had him well defended, and the puck leaks out to center. Foligno muscled it middle of the ice. It's turned over. 4:40 to go, period 1. Each team with a goal, each team 0 for 1 on the power play. Brock Nelson carves ahead, and Nelson, as he dangled at the blue line, his play is offside.
Well, the next season of Wild Hockey will be here before you know it, and we want you to be a part of the excitement. Place your deposits for priority playoff access, exclusive pricing, and much more when you join the Forever Wild member family. Learn more at wild.com/season. It's been a fun game, very spirited game. We haven't seen too many like this where both teams are really flying. The passing has been good.
Got to be honest with you, TR, and I might have told you this a couple days ago. I was fully expecting this to be a little bit more of a sleepy contest. Last game before the break, Islanders super banged up, playing in the second of a back-to-back. But both teams, they're competing.
Yeah, they really are.
It's almost like sometimes, I guess, when your opponent's ready, if you weren't ready, it drags you into the fire a bit. Here's Hinostroza right circle, and he caught the glass with a wrist. I'm not saying the Wild weren't ready, but if either team wasn't prepared from the drop of the puck, it seems like the other side's gotten their attention.
Well, I like what I've seen from Hinostroza so far also. 2 games he's played.
Notre Dame product from his collegiate days. Johansson rims it around. Hustadinov spun off a hit. Taking a quick shot was Trenton. Palmieri to the loose puck. Lofted it behind his own net. And now it's smacked along for Palmieri. Rink wide up ice feed. Here's Bo Horvat with a shot off the rush. Blocker save Gustafsson. Trenton tipped at the rebound, couldn't get it to leave the zone. Anders Lee trying to keep in. Ogren was there first. And now Hustadinov cuts back inside his own blue line and feeds it along to John Merrill. Merrill will be an unrestricted free agent at season's end. He rolls it along. Ogren sent it to Trenton, and his one-timer hit the goalpost. Islanders come the other way. Fire one towards the slot. Pajot tipped it wide. Pajot trying to free it up then. Ogren got his stick in that lane, and Liam Ogren now to fight out to the neutral zone before freeing it up for Rossi, who rims it in from center. Under 3 minutes now to go, period one. Islanders with a long stretch pass. Over the blue line, Zizekas. Found Holmstrom, Simon Holmstrom. Try to go behind his back to the right wing boards. Pajot handed the point. Perunovic's hurried shot was blocked to the corner. Brodin pokes it along, got it out to center. Pelech skies it back in for the Islanders. New York changing on the fly. Wild from right to left on your radio dial with Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon had a helper and a couple of shots Thursday in that win over the Hurricanes. Up ice it came. Boldy fired one to the back post. Zuccarello ended up in a heap by the goal mouth. Couldn't come up with that aerial feed from Boldy. Pelech pokes it around left wing side. Islanders try to stretch it out. It goes a touch too far. Gustafsson out with his goal stick to fling it around the boards, where Brodin crashed into Boquist. Excuse me, that was McLean that Brodin came together with. Engvall to the point. Perunovic to the left side. A shot across the Wild slot. Goes harmlessly wide. Engvall trying to feed the blue line then. Lost it to Rossi. He'll connect with Zuccarello. Gains the center line and fires it in.
The play by Rossi just to get the puck in the far corner and then go to the bench to get some fresh players out there.
Islanders with a breakout pass. It tips into the Wild zone. Middleton had to be careful there with Brock Nelson swooping in. Middleton able to knock it away from trouble and get this puck out to center ice. 90 ticks to go, period one. Middleton galloped to a loose puck. Found Faber. His feet ricocheted around. Look out. Siplikov in the slot with a chance, and the Wild deflected that away. Freddie Gaudreau tied up a bit right wing side. Tries to jab this puck away from trouble. Siplikov is there. Max Siplikov plays it around the Wild end wall. Islanders D comes crashing down as Romanov, who's got a point in back-to-back games, was able to hold in. Middleton now left wing side. Couldn't get it out. Another chance for Minnesota here. Gaudreau looked like he got clipped up high. Play continues. This will feather this puck along to Faber. Goes wide right. Brock Faber leading the rush. Floated one side of the cage, and Sorokin gobbles it up in his glove.
Good play by the goaltender. Also just grab onto them, and you can see the pressure coming. And right now, you look at the shots, 11-8 in favor of Minnesota, but it's a 1-1 game. And this has been one of the most spirited games I think we've seen all year, Joe. Both teams skating well. Both teams passing has been good. Excitement. Good, clean game. And the face-off is going to be deep in the Islander zone.
Yeah, the Islanders, 6 players on injured reserve. Mike Riley, the Chanhassen native, former Wild defenseman. Ryan Pulock, one of their best D-men. Young Noah Dobson, who can score from the blue line. As Merrill skates along with a half minute to go in the first. Off to Husnadinov. Varlamov, their longtime netminders on IR. Here's Bogosian now up high for the Wild, driving a shot. Clanged off the glove of Sorokin. Rebound flipped free, and Anders Lee gains the center line before finding Bo Horvat. Horvat dropped it to Pellet. Rink-wide pass. Boquist to Duclair. Anthony Duclair, checked by Husnadinov, just held it in the blue line, fired it around the Wild net. 5 seconds to go in the frame. Merrill stabs it free. Foligno right wing side, just scoops out the center. As Anders Lee took a run at him, Foligno didn't like that. And those two will meet here at the buzzer.
Oh, they will talk to each other and maybe get something going here in the second period, but you don't want to take any unnecessary penalties. Not the way both these teams are moving the power play opportunities that they have.
So Rossi at 3:19. And then Palmieri just moments later. Each team with an even strength goal. It's 1-1 after 20 minutes. Coming up with the first intermission, in addition to a recap of all the action, Wild GM and President of Hockey Operations Bill Guerin was on Beyond the Pond this morning. We'll have that conversation for you. And a whole lot more. It's the Wild won, the Islanders won after 1 period of play in St. Paul. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Super Bowl Sunday is the biggest sports wagering day of the year, and Sports Grid Radio on SiriusXM has you covered before, during, and after the game. Hear how the lines move, and as we point out our favorite prop bets right up until kickoff. And follow along with us during the game as we check off those props when they hit. From the anthem and the coin toss to the Gatorade and everything in between, Sports Grid Radio is the place to get the winning edge over the sportsbooks. Channel 159 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA. Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada Face-Off Associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
We're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy, he's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Between periods of the Wild and the Islanders, Kevin Fallon is with you downstairs in the Bob Kurtz Radio Center. More on tonight's contest in a moment, but first I want to bring you a conversation from earlier today on Beyond the Pond. It's heard every Saturday morning, 10 to noon on KFAN, the flagship for Minnesota Wild Hockey. Myself and Pat Micheletti host a hockey show. This morning, that hockey show featured Wild General Manager Bill Guerin. Not only the General Manager of the Minnesota Wild, also the General Manager for Team USA, and they're on their way to the Four Nations face-off coming up when this game is done. We talked about all of that with Billy, plus started out talking a little bit about his Minnesota Wild team with just over 25 games left to go. Before we talk about the Four Nations tournament and all that's going on with that as the general manager of that team, keep your Wild hat on. The team sits at 32-19-4, ups and downs of the season. But as I look in the big picture, you've won 4 of your last 6, and you're still right in the thick of the Western Conference playoff race. What's the state of your team now as we move into the last third of the season?
Well, I think our frame of mind's really good. I think our confidence is good. I think we'd like to find, like you said, 4 out of 6, but I think we'd like to find a little more consistency in our game. Injuries are injuries, and we've dealt with those. Obviously, Kirill's out, and that stinks, but hopefully he'll be back at some point this year. And, we're in a good spot. It's just, I listened to you guys before I came on. Every point counts now. Every game is important. So I think, during this break, hopefully the guys can rest up and get healed up and then come back super focused.
Billy, I think for fans, they're starting to gear up for the Four Nations tournament. Everyone's excited. Four Nations face-off coming up next week in Montreal and Boston. You've been thinking about this for quite some time. Would you say that the nerves are starting to pick up, the anxiety, the excitement? Where are you as you make your way through this final game before the break?
Yeah, I think it's more excitement. I think everybody's excited. I mean, the nerves will come, but I think this is going to be a great event for hockey. I think it's going to be a great event for hockey fans, and we're really looking forward to it. We're excited about our team, and the opportunity to go win something.
Are you pretty well set now with your roster, with the guys, committing or whatever the case may be, injury wise? Where does Team USA sit today?
Well, we have till Monday to in case guys get hurt. So we have till Monday to replace guys. Waiting to hear back from a few guys, but all in all, we're pretty healthy.
One of those guys is Quinn Hughes that I know everybody's keeping an eye on. He's just a dynamic player here in the Western Conference, and I know will be a dynamic player on your blue line along with Brock Faber and some others. Do you have a status update on him? Do you expect him to play?
You know what? I don't think it'd be fair for me to comment. Mm-hmm. It's a player's personal choice. He's going through something right now, and I really don't feel comfortable commenting on that.
Yeah, well, you certainly don't have to, but let me ask this question. As a general manager of a team, when, like Allmark, for example, for Ottawa, he's one of their goaltenders. He's been out for quite a while, just getting back. They're a team that is, in the playoffs right now. Is that difficult for a general manager to say, yep, go and play? Or, on the selfish side of it, saying, man, boy, you could really need some rest and get healthier. How difficult is that for you, a general manager, to address something like that?
Well, it's not, for me, it's not that difficult. Like, we can't tell them what to do.
Right.
Like, this is their choice. So it's completely out of our hands. So
you just let it.
I mean, you just, you let it, he goes and you hope for the best. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. So, but look, if I had a player that hadn't played in a long time and maybe was coming back, it might be the best thing for us to have him go and play a couple games.
How great will this be for you then as the general manager of the Minnesota Wild to have a couple of guys, young guys like a Matt Boldy and a Brock Faber, for example, on the American team, but then, of course, you also got the guys over there on Team Sweden. But how good is this going to be for a Matt Boldy and for a Brock Faber going forward in their careers to experience something of this level?
I think it'll be really good. I mean, I think, the experience that they'll get being around the best of the best and, just to play on this big stage, which they've played on before as younger players. All these experiences just make you a better player.
I've mentioned this before, but in closing, the pride that you had wearing that red, white, and blue jersey and now being the general manager of Team USA, what does that do for you, Billy, and when you think about your lineage representing America?
Well, it's just a huge honor to be in this position and to represent my country again. And, I'm a proud American. I love our country. I love USA Hockey, and any chance I get to represent our country, I jump at it. So I'm really excited about it.
Bill Guerin from earlier today on Beyond the Pond, heard weekly on KFAN in the Twin Cities metro area and the flagship for Minnesota Wild Hockey, 10 to noon. Myself and Pat Micheletti talking all things hockey, NHL, college, youth, and anything and everything else. It is Beyond the Pond on The Fan. We'll break and then we'll recap where we are in the hockey game to this point. Wild and Islanders from St. Paul. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
This is Brock Faber of the Minnesota Wild. Having grown up in Minnesota, I know all about the legend that is Tom Reed.
Hello, fans. He's been good when he has to be. Well, Tom, doing very well, thank you. I've had a couple of beers, so I'm okay.
Great broadcaster, better person.
A Henway tomorrow.
What is that?
What?
A Henway.
Depends on the size of the hen.
Oh. And you get to hear him every night.
This is Tom Reed. Thanks for listening to Wild Hockey.
Exclusively on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
At Anderson, we understand the challenges of builders and contractors better than most. Here's proof from real pros.
The best service department is the one you don't need, right? But when you do, I know they're going to be there.
The 400 series has earned my trust to the point where we have put it in our own home.
When somebody says Anderson, everybody responds quality.
Helping builders and contractors craft their legacy. Anderson, the #1 trusted window and door brand. Claims based on 2022 Anderson brand surveys of U.S. contractors and builders.
Through one period in St. Paul, Wild and Islanders knotted at a goal apiece. With the new guy, Vinny Hinostroza, in his second game in a Wild uniform. How are the new digs treating you here, Vinny? Game one was pretty good. Scoring your debut, that's not a bad start.
Yeah, I think it's been good, obviously. Quick turnaround, but the guys in that room couldn't have made it easier coming in here, and thankful for that. And, it's a big one tonight. That was a pretty good period, but we got 40 more to go.
Yeah, you always wonder how is it going to be that final game before a long break. If the first period's any indication, both teams are flying, including your Wild squad.
Yeah, I think, we did a good job. I think we had some chances. We could add one or two more, and I think we definitely outchanced them, but, we're just going to look to keep getting stronger, getting behind their D, and playing a little bit more in the offensive zone.
Chicago native, right?
Yes.
So this snow is nothing for you, right? The drive into the morning skate this morning, driving in today with a little snow on the ground, and no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. It's easy. It's pretty similar to Chicago, so grew up with it.
All right, well, cool. Good luck here in the second period and beyond. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
There you go. Wild forward Vinny Hinostroza for joining us in the intermission. He'll get a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. 1-1 after one period of play. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
The fastest game on ice.
Step on. There's Schmaltz. He's in. Schmaltz to step up. He scores!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Marco Rossi opens the scoring for the Wild. 3:19 in. The Wild take the advantage.
Boldy over the blue line. Dropped it off. Rossi scores! A twisted wrister for Marco Rossi. Good setup by Boldy and the Wild and the game's first goal.
34th time this season, the Wild have scored first. That's tied for the most in the National Hockey League, but unfortunately, 13 seconds later, Kyle Palmieri pulls us even at a goal apiece, and that's where we sit after 20 minutes of hockey. It's Philip Gustafsson between the pipes for the Wild. He stops 7 of 8. Ilya Sorokin stops 11 of 12. Both teams are 0 for 1 on the power play. The second is next. 1-1 is your score after one period of play. This is Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies.
He scores!
At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
You used to call me on my cell phone. Join us each night for Tom Reed's Hotline. Simply text in your comment or question at 64686. That's 64686. One lucky fan will win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or a pair of tickets to an upcoming Wild game. So text Tom right now at 64686 and listen to tonight's Hotline.
Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
When cleaning a jewel, it's important to rub and wash the jewel repeatedly. Perhaps that's why every team in the league has taken to giving hard-working Wild forward Jewel Eriksson Ek a face wash. A small price to pay to add a little polish to your game. Jewel Eriksson Ek. Not weird. Wild.
Whether it's a division collision with the Blackhawks or a battle with the Flames, the Wild look forward to you bringing the noise to Xcel Energy Center. Buy your tickets today at wild.com/hockey-tickets.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe Award-winning superstar Mary J. Blige, live in St. Paul. The For My Fans Tour, live at Xcel Energy Center, March 16th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige for one night only.
Second period. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. It's 1-1. After 20 minutes, shots favored the Wild 12-8. Minnesota got the first goal. Seconds later, the Islanders answered.
That lead didn't last.
Nope.
12 seconds. No, 13 seconds, excuse me. Yeah, didn't want to get that wrong. Face off at Sunrise.
The Wild Thursday led for 57 minutes and 5 seconds at home. Bit of a rarity. Minnesota coming into this game still has led as far as minutes and seconds go, fewest in the entire league when it comes to home ice and playing with the league. Off the rush, right into the second period come the Islanders. Palmieri's shot tipped high and wide by Zuccarello. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. Backdoor pass, Islanders score. It's Brock Nelson waiting in the weeds. And just 28 seconds into the frame, the Islanders are in front.
Well, just being off to the side, and that's what he's still waiting for. And you almost read that play coming into place here. He was to the left of the goaltender, probably about 15 feet away, and just sitting there very patiently. Puck came to us, stick down the ice, right on the tape, that quick release. And Gus had no chance on that. He tried to get over from the left side to the right side, couldn't make it, and as a result of that, it's in the net, and the Islanders have taken the lead for the first time in this game, as you call it, Joe, at 28 seconds of the second period on their next shot.
So the Wild in comeback mode now at home. Wild skating from left to right on your radio dial in the second. Islanders from right to left. As Schroeder tries to free it up and get it out of his zone. He could not. Duclair jabbed it to the point. And now Anders Lee at the right wing hash marks from his vantage point to Duclair. Anthony Duclair just spins it in the corner.
Brock Nelson, assisted by number 7, Maxime Stiplikov, and number 21, Kyle Palmieri. Time of the goal, 28 seconds of the second period.
So that line haunting the Wild. Siplikov 2 assists, Nelson a goal and assist, Palmieri a goal and assist.
Frustrating too when you start a period like that. You had a good period in the first period, everything was going great, and all of a sudden, very quickly, it can change, and we saw that already. So Minnesota's got to find a way to get the puck in the offensive zone.
And last night, notwithstanding, Sorokin's been excellent. He had won 7 in a row before the setback last night. You wonder how many would he give up here tonight. 2023 Vezina Trophy finalist.
Yeah, and Joe, in those 7 games that he won, he gave up 7 goals in the 7 games. He had a couple of shutouts also in that stretch against Carolina and against Philadelphia.
And on the road this year, Sorokin, a 2.62 goals against average. Pajot to Cizikas. Islanders exerting their will here early in the frame. Foligno ties up Casey Cizikas, who's in his 14th season with the Islanders. And the Minnesota Wild finally able to break out here. Ogren headmans, Husadinov tips it. In the right wing corner on the forecheck goes Foligno, bumped there by a couple of white sweaters. Puck shoved along McLean to Engvall. He'll tap in. Spurgeon able to flick it back through center. 2.5 minutes played, second period. The Wild trailing 2-1. Hinostroza bank pass. Trenyan carves it in. In that opening period, again, we said it a couple of times, the Wild has centering feet for Hinostroza, had a jab it in front. Sorokin trying to gobble it up. He's on his stomach. It's still loose. A bouncing puck. Islanders got it free. Couldn't get it out. Trenyan to the point. Brody. Now right side. Spurgeon a few feet inside the blue line. To Devon Shore for a long drive. That's blocked out in front. Engvall clears just out to center.
Well, I like what I'm seeing, though. Minnesota go right for that net. They got bodies getting to that blue paint area.
Engvall carries over the blue line. Muscle one on the right wing side. It's shoved down low as the Islanders bail out on a change. That was Mark Gatcombe who dumped it in. And again, New York changes on the fly. Boldy through the neutral zone, flipped it along, stealing DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo was signed by the Islanders January the 24th after playing 34 games to start the year in Russia's KHL. Off the rush, Islanders with a chance. Gustafson a stick save. Rossi the loose puck. He'll float it back to Spurgeon. Rips it off the left wing dasher and ahead. Icing, though, on the Wild.
You mentioned DeAngelo, and we both know that he's had problems with his teammates also in the dressing room, and that's one of the reasons why he has been chopped around a little bit. But he comes back into the fold here, and a good defenseman, a very solid guy back there, but he just got to be able to control his temper a little bit more, so especially amongst his own teammates.
Well, we talked about the Islanders' injuries. 3 of their 6 players on injured reserve defensemen. So what do? They go get Boquist, Adam Boquist, off waivers from the Panthers on January the 31st. A week prior, they signed DeAngelo out of the KHL. And they are kind of piecemealing it together. Not that those aren't good players, certainly. They both have a lot of experience. Boquist is a former first-rounder. DeAngelo has had his trials and tribulations, as Tom mentioned, but he's also been a pretty productive player when playing his game and getting along, so to speak. As Pelech charges in, fires a shot off the chest to Gustafson, who had a fight off the rebound from Anders Lee and able to get a whistle. But right now, the Islanders pushing here in the second.
Yeah, they really are, Joe. I want to take a moment here to also. Dick Meredith, a longtime employee of the Minnesota North Stars, passed away a couple of nights ago. Just a terrific guy. He was on the 1956 Olympic Hockey Club and then won gold with the U.S. Olympic Hockey Club in 1960. John Maysis, Jack McCartan, the whole cast of characters in that, but passed away. Great guy, and certainly he'll be missed. Our very best to Kelly, his daughter, and family and friends of Dick. But he, wonderful guy, 82 years of age.
Well said. Off the draw, Islanders have it. DeAngelo, Romanov. Now Pajot back to Romanov for a shot. Gustafson fights it off. DeAngelo pinched in, centered this puck. Holmstrom to the point. Romanov guides it wide, where Pajot will race to it. Spun away from Freddie Gaudreau. Worked it to the right point. DeAngelo shot blocked to the corner by Marcus Johansson. 4.5 minutes expired time in the second. Islanders hold in. Romanov a shot blocked by Gaudreau. Pajot to it, tried to knife it rink wide, broken up by the Wild. Hinostroza over the blue line, dropped it off Freddie Gaudreau, right circle, looking for some help. Back below the goal line now for Hinostroza. Smacked along for Middleton. Middleton cut past a check through the slot with a backhander that tips and finds the netting.
Hinostroza has really played very well for this hockey club. You think coming into a new team that you won't know the the type of play of the system they're using. But boy, he has not looked out of place at all. So it's a good find by Bill Guerin to bring him here because he certainly has helped this club already.
15-10 to go, second period. Right before the Islanders score, I was starting to say the Wild 11-4, 70 tonight. Talking with Joe Smith from The Athletic at intermission. He goes, Declan Chisholm play in the first period, and I thought, I don't really remember calling his name, and all the other defensemen played pretty well. It turns out Chisholm did not have a shift in the opening period, but he's out here now, early stages of the second.
Yeah,
paired up with Zach Bogosian.
Yeah, and the fact they have 7 defensemen also, one guy's going to sit a little bit more so, but I don't think I've ever seen one guy sat the whole period unless he was being chastised by the coach.
Right. Islanders poke it ahead. Chisholm turns and hustles back for it. Better come out at the start of the second and get a good little minute warm-up there when they let the teams come out early if you haven't played for a whole frame. Foligno scoops along Bogosian. Right circle offensive zone, powers it down low. Hustadinov being stick-checked. Able to tie it up long enough for Foligno to support. He'll churn it to the right point, Bogosian. Now to Chisholm. Up high for Ogren. Back to Chisholm. That pass kind of rattled around. Boquist flicks it to Brock Nelson. Nelson gallops over the blue line, jams on the brakes, and then just scoops it into the corner over the left shoulder of Gustafsson. Where Hustadinov backhanded around to the right side. Chisholm races to this puck and flexes it through center. Trenyon steals on a failed clear by the Islanders. Yakov-Trenyon just has to rotate it back out to the neutral zone as the Wild were changing. And right back in come the Minnesota Wild. Shore with a shot that tips around Hustadinov. Hinostroza fed it to the point. Spurgeon goes right back to Hinostroza. He'll feed Brodin with a long wrister. That was blocked to the corner. Hinostroza cuts off some pressure with Palmieri leaning on him. On the center was batted away. Left wing board Siplikov. Couldn't get it past the pinching defensive Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon creates a turnover. Right circle gobbling up Trenyon with a shot block. Comes to the high slot Spurgeon. Taps along to Brodin. Into the left wing corner Zuccarello. Around the Islanders' net comes Max Zuccarello. Spurgeon will creep in through the slot. Zuccarello all the way up top and his pass tipped. Siplikov cuts it off and leads the charge ahead. Max Siplikov over the blue line. Gave it away. Oh, Trenyon couldn't come out. Past Perunovic. He had a man wide open. Rossi. It would have been a breakaway. Islanders now fire a side angle shot off that giveaway. Gustafsson made the save. Rebound kept alive by Pelech at the right point. Siplikov now. Rink wide. Perunovic swooped it back to Pelech for a shot. Carefully blocker to the corner by Gustafsson. And Zuccarello will pick up this puck. And he didn't get it out. Perunovic holds in. Cut past Trenyon through the slot. Left side. A shot. They score. Anders lead. And the Islanders get to 2 giveaways by the Wild, and they eventually make it 3-1.
Yeah, those giveaways, especially behind your own blue line, cost Minnesota once again in this hockey game. And Anders Lee is going to make quick work of this one. He will pick the young shot of Edina, who went to St. Thomas High School and also played for the Edina Hornets. Picks up his 23rd goal of the season, which leads his hockey club. He's been absolutely terrific. His 41st point. So, with that, the Islanders take the lead, coming at 7 minutes and 17 seconds of the second period.
And Tom Zuccarello, after turning that puck over, was next to Lee, and then he went to the front of the net, taking his eye off the Islanders captain. And no shot for Gustafsson there.
Well, you're down to 2 goals for this hockey. You got 3 goals. You got a lot of work to do to catch up here now.
So the Minnesota natives on this Islanders roster haunting their hometown team so far. And in this second period, the Wild's top line, Zuccarello, Rossi, and Boldy on the ice for both goals against. Puck ends up in the stands, 12:37 left, second period. A lot of time for the Wild, but the Islanders all of a sudden in front 3-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Get your championship pregame vibes without leaving the couch on Tailgating Anthems. A channel dedicated to rock the Big Easy Party and amplify end zone celebrations. Tailgating Anthems, now for a limited time on Channel 17 and year-round with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa TV, or other internet-connected devices.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The
big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy, he's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Well, it was 1-1 at the end of the first period, but all of a sudden the Islanders have come to play here. They have scored 2 goals. Nelson gets his 17th of the season at the 28-second mark of period number 2, and at 7:17, Mr. Anders Lee gets his goal, his 23rd of the season. So Minnesota natives are
scoring for the Islanders,
making Minnesota pay the price on this one.
Number 27, Anders Lee. Assistant 26, Scott Perunovic. Time of the goal, 7:17 of the second period. Lee from Perunovic at 7:17.
So goal 28 seconds in and one just under 7 minutes later. Shot here, tipped. Gustafsson looked behind him. It leaked out and went just wide. Islanders now have scored 3 or more goals in 11 of their last 12 games. This is without Matt Barzal, one of their top offensive skill guys. Faber holds the blue line right side, angles it into the left wing corner. Minnesota looking to go to work here offensively. Johansson to the point. Jake Middleton, a long shot blocked. D'Angelo fed it along. Middleton able to slow it down and then gather at center. He'll find Freddie Gaudreau. Swings it all the way back to Brock Faber. Back-to-back games of 25-plus minutes for Faber. As he'll connect with Devin Shore. Shore lobs it in. Hustadinov hustled to it. Freed it up left wing corner. Foligno from low to high. John Merrill fakes the shot. Wristed it back to Foligno. Poked down low. It skipped around. Hustadinov tried to go between the legs. Romanov knocked that away from trouble. And the Islanders come ahead. Gatcombe to Engvall. Blistered in from center. Gustafsson with his goal stick. Shoved it to the left side. Foligno trickles it back. Merrill hurries it around right wing corner. Defensive zone. Bogosian whips it up. Shore tips it loose. And here's Hustadinov over the blue line. Slow down. A sea of white just swarming him. And Adam Pelech now for the Islanders settles things down.
Yeah, Islanders doing a great job of coming back defensively to help out.
And Patrick Waugh this afternoon lauded his team's defensive play lately. And was going to urge them to have good sticks and just get back to their defensive game after that setback last night in Winnipeg. Islanders 3-4-0, second of a back-to-back this year. Pelech lifts it ahead. Siplikov tries to pry it in, blocked by the Wild. Ennis throws it to Trenyon, hoping for Ogren. That was slowed down at center. Picking it up, Brodin flies it in. Sorokin waffle boards it to his right. Pelech back of his own cage for the Islanders. Adam Pelech flings it to Boquist. Sprayed back along for Pelech. His return feed sends Boquist back through his own slot. He'll grab it. The right-handed skating defenseman finds Siplikov. He pushes it to Palmieri. A long shot, carefully sticked away by Gustafsson. A good job by Gustafsson to really force that puck off the glass. That allowed the Wild to scoop it up and carry ahead. They'll end up deep in the offensive zone with Trenyon trying to center. It was blocked and came back to him. Now at the left point, Middleton fires a shot, and that was rattled around in front before being grabbed by D'Angelo. He'll spring it ahead. Romano up ice. Lee just onside. Fired one to the back post. Nobody there. Nelson stepped to it. His drive caught the glass. Holding in D'Angelo. Cycled it down low. Lee watched carefully by Middleton. To the loose puck is Marcus Foligno. Banked it off the boards. Nobody home. Romanov tried to loft it back in. Foligno couldn't come up with it. In the slot. Declare off for a drive, and it was well read and handled by Gustafsson on the one-timer from Bo Horvat. Timeout on the ice, halfway home, period 2. The Wild trail the Islanders 3-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Scoreboard update.
Before heading off to the Four Nations face-off, the Tkachuk brothers are doing battle tonight in Sunrise, Florida. Both of them have scored. Brady with his 21st of the year for the Senators. Matthew with his 22nd of the year for the Panthers. But Sasha Barkov also on the board. Panthers lead the Senators 2-1. 6:08 left to go in the second. Both the Tkachuk brothers will be on Team USA's roster when the Four Nations tournament gets underway later this week. For now, that's it. Back to Joe and Tom.
Yeah, we got 9:13 to go here in period number 2, and the Islanders with 2 quick goals in this second period have taken the 3-1 lead here right now. The face-off deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of Philip Gustafson, who's been very good. Actually, been a pretty good game to watch also. These, you like speed and you like accuracy. I think both these teams have really fulfilled that end of it.
Islanders win the face-off. Perunovic to declare a shot. That deflected just wide. Scurrying to it and leading the Wild ahead, Jonas Brodin. This pass held by Husendinov for a moment. Brodin follows it up, grabs it, and jams it in from the left side. Foligno took a healthy run at Perunovic. Those two still wrapped up back of the net. Islanders attacking here. Anders Lee tries to center, and that deflects, ends up over the Islanders bench and out of play, and Foligno and Perunovic still can't separate.
A little tight to each other. Well, attention to our season ticket members. Once again, we're going to reward you for listening all season long with the Forever Wild Reward points. Enter the code EMPIRE. That's EMPIRE to receive 100 bonus points on your account. That offer will end at midnight tomorrow. A nice little snowfall, Joe. Just enough to make it slippery and messy.
Yeah, exactly. John Merrill having some equipment worked on at the Wild bench, right by the tunnel. Cliff Halstead, the equipment managers helping him out. Off this face-off, Islanders muscle one on the point. D'Angelo flips along for Holmstrom. Holmstrom protects up near the blue line, turned and just fired a long shot. Gustafson to save. Pajot to it. A.G. Pajot back behind the net looking for Cizikas. Hounded the whole way by Middleton. Cizikas then lost the puck out to center. Hinostroza got wrestled down. Penalty call.
Absolutely. He just grabbed onto him. That should be a penalty. He's arguing the call, but definitely a penalty.
New York, 53, minor penalty, holding.
So Minnesota going the power play. As Cizikas goes to the penalty box area, he leads his team also and hits 149 hits on the season so far.
So the power play the first time out, Tom, had some good looks. Would you say 5 shots with the man advantage?
5 shots, yes. Unfortunately, no goals. That's what you got to get. 11:38 the time of penalty to Cizikas.
Off the draw, the Islanders clear down. That's very similar to how the first power play started back in the opening period at the 9:26 mark. And then after that, Minnesota basically spent the entire time in the O-zone, just couldn't connect. Down 3-1, they'll try to chisel away at this deficit. As Hinostroza just floats one in over the blue line right side, and it's gloved and held on to by Sorokin.
Yeah, Islanders taking the lead in the shooting department also. Not only a 2-goal lead in this, but they outshot Minnesota now 21-15 in this contest. Face-off is going to be deep in the Islander zone.
Rossi will take the face-off. Islanders jab it out of play off a stick. And we'll do it again to the left of Sorokin.
Yeah, had a chance to talk to their general manager prior to this hockey game. And you look at a guy like Lou Lamoriello, who's been around for a long time. And of course, He loves the game, and he runs the ship. He runs a very, very tight ship, and you don't break the rules with him. But good friend of Jacques Lemaire's also, and of course they honored Jacques by retiring his name in the sweater. He was the first coach with Lou when they won the Stanley Cup in New Jersey.
Behind his
1995.
All right, Tom, behind his own net, Matt Zuccarello carries out. From left to right on your radio dial, the Wild power play down 3-1. Boldy to Hinostroza, flipped it rink wide. Pelech gobbles it up, bounces it ahead. Brock Nelson. Nelson carries in shorthanded, cut through the slot, wristed one. It was slowed down in front. And the Wild take over. Not much going on this man advantage near the midway point. Rossi to Hinostroza over the blue line, fought through a bit of a hook from Nelson, carried around the net, sprung it up to the left point. Zuccarello gave it back to Hinostroza. His pass hit the skates of Horvat and careens back through center.
Yeah, sometimes just get your body in the way of the puck carrier and hopefully get a deflection coming off of it.
Boldy carves behind his own cage. 7 minutes left, second period. Wild down 3-1. Boldy through the neutral zone, flies it in over the right shoulder of Sorokin. Chasing to it, trying to come up with it, Liam Ogren. Puck grabbed by Romanov, and he'll backhand sky it ahead. Faber on a quick up for Ogren as the Wild have finished the change. Second unit's out on the ice. Ogren fed Gaudreau coming late. He scores! Freddie Gaudreau let it fly off the rush. It clanged around in front and found the back of the net, and the Wild are within one.
That's a huge goal, and also a power play goal. And Freddie Gaudreau, he's really having a banner year. Last year, not so good. 2 years ago, he was terrific. 19 goals, 19 assists. But right now, he scores a huge goal for Minnesota, and that's one of the ones that gives you a little more life also, and that's what they're looking for right now with this hockey club. And Freddie Gaudreau, one of those guys, very quiet off the ice, but he can be really tough on the ice. And for Freddie Gaudreau, that is goal number 11 for him. He's the only guy with at least 50% in the face-off circle for Minnesota. Discussion going on here right now. Patrick Waugh behind the bench talking to the referee, but if this goal stands, which I think it will, hopefully it comes at 13:21 of the period.
Well, the Wild, maybe they needed a bounce, Tom. They got one there as that blast by Gaudreau pinballed off Tony DeAngelo and got past the stunned Sorokin.
And it's a good goal.
Scoring for Minnesota! 11th goal of the season for number 89, Freddie Gaudreau. Assisted by number 28, Liam Ogren, and number 7, Brock Faber. Time of the goal, 13:21.
Islanders trying to get it right back. A shot by Gatcombe missed high and wide. So both Team USA Four Nations members for the Wild, and Boldy and Faber have an assist tonight. Brock Nelson's going to play for Team USA from the Islanders' standpoint. He's had a couple of points here this evening. 6 minutes left, second period. The Wild back within one. It's 3-2, the deficit for Minnesota. Gaudreau at the red line, right side. Spirits won it. Sorokin came out, stopped it, paddled it along Pelech. Pelech launching it ahead for Lee. Watched carefully by Faber. A couple of Minnesota natives here. Faber checks Lee into the corner to the right of Gustafsson. Islanders dug it free, then turned it over Zuccarello. Husadinov with a good stick. And now Jake Middleton leads the rush ahead. Floating one to the left side, Johansson. Spun off a check. Marcus Johansson ripped one in front. It was just batted away. Lee from Boquist. He'll get as far as he can through the neutral zone. Now Duclair to a loose puck. A backdoor pass. Blocked by the sliding Faber. Rescued by the Islanders. Fed to the point. Romanov with a blast that went high and wide. Anthony Duclair now. Wrists it to Romanov at the blue line. Paddled it free. A cross-ice pass. Romanov driving to the slot was open. He just jabbed it wide. That was a feed from Siplikov, who's been all over. His fingerprints are all over this score sheet so far. Devin Shore couldn't get it out for the Wild. Siplikov picked his pocket. He'll rim it around the Wild end wall. Islanders trying to hold in and do more damage off a takeaway. They'll center. It's tapped along Perunovic back to the right side. A shot fought off by Gustafsson. On the wrister by Brock Nelson. Romanov now a drive. That was blocked to the corner. Perunovic won the war. Finds Nelson. Nelson swerving down low around the net of Gustafsson. Stick handling. He'll feed it to the point. Romanov handed along. The Wild here in some trouble. Perunovic into the corner. Nelson fumbled it away for a moment. Kustadinov lost his stick. Nelson centers. Palmieri. Tap back. It's Perunovic. Right side Nelson. Flipped along Palmieri. This is not a power play, but it sure feels like it. Islanders still in the offensive zone. Kustadinov trying to defend and pressure. It's given the way of Nelson again. Tired Wild players out here as Nelson cut through the slot. Took a shot. It was blocked. Islanders then fumbled away, thankfully, from Minnesota's perspective. It's skied along by Kustadinov, but this is going to be ice.
Wow. Well, also because Minnesota now able to clear the puck out of their own zone, and that's what they have to do when they get that chance. They've got to get it out of there. But Shore had the puck just about 6 feet inside the blue line, and a turnover took place. Again, the other two of those goals in the game by the Islanders were direct turnovers by Minnesota as well. But right now the face-off is going to be deep in the Wild zone to the left of Gustafsson. Shots right now 22-16 in favor of the visitors, who also lead 3-2.
Remember, the Islanders, top team in the league in the face-off circle. Off this draw, scramble. Middleton emerges, pokes it down, but this has the steam for icing again. And now at this point, Johansson's been on the ice for 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Everybody else out there for Minnesota, at least 2:05 as far as shift length goes.
Yeah, and that's where you want to slow things down as much as you can. Now, of course, the officials want to drop the puck as quickly as they can, but you mentioned the Islanders. You look at it for a guy like Horvat, who's percentage-wise in face-off 60.4%.
Stick tap to Zach Halverson, our engineer here in the Al Shaver press box. Got those shift lengths handy. He's been using his fingers and toes to count them, Tom, but I'm taking it verbatim. Wild win the draw. They come ahead. They'll squeeze it down low, and they can finally at least get a partial change. Kustadinov now to the point. Bogosian over to John Merrill. Left side. Fired one. It was blocked. Merrill locates it. Tried to stab it deeper in the Islander zone. Got it as far towards the goal line as he could before D'Angelo took over. Lofts it around, and the Islanders force it out to center. Trenyon on a quick up. Off a giveaway for Marcus Foligno. Foligno trying to churn off ahead. He's wrapped up along the boards by Cizikas. Boudreau and Trenyon join the scrum for Minnesota. Trenyon swats it around the Islanders' end wall. Merrill came crashing down. Boudreau covered, got to the loose puck, and cycled it off. Yakov Trenyon, right wing corner, stopping, shaking, trying to get away from Perunovic. It's Foligno now to the right point. Bogosian laid along Merrill, taps off Gaudreau. Freddie Gaudreau stops left wing circle, fed the point Merrill. Slipped it along Bogosian, a drive, blocked, a kick to the high slot. Gaudreau picks it up, spun away from a hit, bought some real estate. Gaudreau with a wrister, stopped by Sorokin, rebound, Foligno whacking away. And a whistle, even though the puck had scored it free.
Yeah, the referee's ready to blow the whistle, and that's the right call. Foligno, you could see him also. Oh, a little bit of a push here.
Pageau just took a shot at Foligno well after the play had stopped, and then
let's see where that goes.
In the stunning development of the night, Foligno gave him a shot back.
Yeah, Pageau, 5'11", 195. He's giving away a lot of inches and weight to the opposition.
2:32 to go, second period. The Wild down a goal. It's 3-2 in favor of the visiting Islanders here in St. Paul. Timeout on the ice. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Every day starts full of promise, excitement, opportunity. But at the same time, every day can also come with a lot of curveballs. This is where Daily Pay can help. If you work on the daily, you should see your money on the daily. Daily Pay allows you to access your earned wages before payday. So, what's stopping you from making the most of it? Of waking up today and making that move or seizing that moment? Take control of your finances and find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies.
He scored!
At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Hey Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch game day snacks at your local grocery stores to make game day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild!
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch, the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Snappy Old Dutch potato chips.
Well, spread the love of Wild hockey this Valentine's Day. Shop the Hockey Lodge, a Fanatics experience for the perfect gift for every Wild fan in your life. Inside Gate 1 at XL Energy Center or shop online at hockeylodge.com. Face off deep in the Islander zone. We'll let the Sorokin.
Off the face-off. Scramble for this puck. Siplikov taps along. Palmieri gains the red line. Flies it in. Spurgeon back. Ran into Siplikov. Boldy now to a bouncing puck right wing corner. Being tied up is Matt Boldy. Squirts free. Rossi able to just pump it off the boards in open ice. Zuccarello racing to it. Boquist just a stride ahead of him. Zuccarello comes up with his puck though. Fed the point Spurgeon. Laid along. Some room for Brodin. Left circle. A shot. They score! Boldy in front. Tipped it home. And we're tied at 3.
And that's a huge goal for Minnesota. A huge goal for Boldy also. Getting the points, but he struggled the last half a dozen games. But all of a sudden now, he makes it work. And with that, Minnesota, who was down by 2, have come back to tie up this hockey game. This coming at 17 minutes, 59 seconds of period number 2. And Boldy had an assist on the first goal, the opening goal of this game by Rossi. He gets his own goal here. And that ties up this game as we get closer to the end of the second period.
Tom, I really like the work of Brodin there to use the ice. When Spurgeon went D to D, he didn't just sit at the blue line. He attacked those few feet towards the circle, drew some pressure his way.
Well, when you get a skater like him, he can do those type of things. He's one of those guys that can get back in the play if something were to happen. But Brodin is a guy, he's not going to get a lot of points for it, but defensively he is so good. Probably Minnesota's best defense in moving the puck out of the zone.
It'll be Brodin's 200th career assist, all of course with Minnesota. As we get the primary helper, he's got points in 8 of his last 10 games that he's played in. Have to phrase it that way because he missed some time, of course, with injury. Trenyon steals on a giveaway. Left circle, Trenyon floated the goal line. Goudreau back to Trenyon for a shot. Stick save Sorokin. Trenyon hustled to the rebound. Dove to poke it free. Foligno cutting around the net. Marcus Foligno whipped it to Middleton at the left point. Now it's Hustadinov fresh off the bench. Getting it to the point. Middleton shoots one. Trenyon tipped it. It's gone!
Well, I've said before, Trenyon's really having a very strong game here. He is really picking up his pace here. A very slow start when he first came to Minnesota, but boy, he is making a difference here right now. Does a great job of just, being engaged in this. You can really tell this team was prepared for a game like this, but Trenyon just stays with it, and the puck bounces as a shot comes from the left point position by Middleton off the pipe. It laid there, and Trenyon, who got in behind the defense, was able to put that away and give Minnesota the lead in this game now 4-3.
And some life at XL Energy Center, to say the least. It's been a good one so far. I don't think I saw 7 combined goals with still a period plus to go coming in this game tonight, but that's the way it's shaken out so far. Gustafsson with his goal stick. Flex it along Bogosian. And a drop pass by Inestroza to Hustadinov. He'll headman. Johansson's foot speed negates icing. Marcus Johansson picks up the loose puck, rolled up to the blue line. Now Merrill activating, took a side angle shot and went wide. 40 ticks to go in the frame. Bogosian right point. Now to Johansson. He'll smack it around the cage. Inestroza. Goal line right side. Tripped up. Islanders have it. Engvall. He'll sweep it free, right wing corner. Pellick lobs it out to center. Engvall carries in. He's got some space. Wristed a shot. Gustafsson fought it off. Boy, frenetic finish to period 2. 10 seconds left as Zuccarello sprints in left side. Over the blue line. Stopping at the hash mark. Zuccarello now up near the blue line. Fired one down low. Bounce free. And it just skipped away from Rossi. And that's going to take us to the second intermission. My goodness. What a conclusion to the middle frame, and they're on their feet here in St. Paul.
And rightfully so, they should be. This team coming back here, scoring the last 3 goals this hockey game after being down by 2, have taken the lead by 1.
I mean, you look at the Wild's home ice record, right? They get their 12th win Thursday against the Hurricanes to get back to 500 in this building. But what we just kind of felt, Tom, vibe-wise, atmosphere-wise, there hasn't been a lot of that in this building this year.
There really has not been. But I said in the first period, Joe, this is one of the games, I think the best game I've seen these two teams play against each other. They've only played the one game, but just the way they're skating in this contest also. They're moving their feet, things are happening, and that's what you're looking for. And then the fans are certainly engaged with it as well.
So the scoring started early in the frame with the Islanders getting 2, including 1 in the first half minute. The back half of the period, 3 Minnesota goals in a 5-minute and 29-second span to take what was a 3-1 deficit, turn it into a 4-3 lead after 40. Tom Reed's hotline after this, plus a recap of all the action so far. The Wild 4, the Islanders 3 at the second intermission. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The biggest football event of the year is upon us, and VEASAN's got you covered before, during, and after the big game. We're pulling out all the stops with contributions from every one of your favorite VEASAN hosts and experts. They'll be giving out their best bets for the game, as well as breaking down the lines and discussing their favorite props that they'll be sweating throughout. Tune into SiriusXM Channel 158 at 8 a.m. Eastern to catch all the action, and let the Sports Betting Network take you through the biggest Sunday in sports betting.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About whatever how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on SiriusXM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
We're talking about 2 of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You can win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or Wild tickets to a future game. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
What a finish to the middle frame. Wild down 3-1 mid part of the second period, but in the final 7 minutes of period number 2, Freddie Goudreau, Matt Boldy, and Yakov Trenyan, all of a sudden the Wild lead the Islanders 4-3 after 40 minutes of hockey. Tom Reed's here for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text us 64686. You could win tickets to an upcoming Minnesota Wild home game once they return from the Four Nations tournament. What do you think, Tom? Little excitement in St. Paul.
Well, there is, Kevin. Right now, there's got to be a lot of excitement in that Minnesota locker room as well, and because they have played so well. This has been a good hockey game. I mean, both sides really are competing in this game. Minnesota's had some good luck finally, which they have not had a great deal. Both these teams going through a lot of injuries, and Joe had touched about the fact that the Islanders have a lot of guys who've been hurt also and are on the sidelines right now. But this has been one of the better games I think I've seen in this building in a long time.
Yeah, and again, no Kirill Kaprizov, no Joel Eriksson Ek. If you're just tuning in, a late scratch out with a lower body injury. So the Wild went 11 forwards, 7 defensemen, and so far so good. Again, holding on to a 4-3 lead after 2 periods. Let's jump into the questions here. We'll start with this one from Curtis S. Tom. Anytime you talk about the Islanders, there's always the rumors floating around there. Maybe just because they're Minnesota boys, but they're always very good players. Yeah. Brock Nelson, Anders Lee. Boy, would either of them look good in a Minnesota Wild uni.
Well, they would, and I'm just not quite sure when their contracts are going to be up, but it sounds like it might be for at least one of them might be at the end of this season. So we'll wait and see what happens. And but I think Brock Nelson's the guy that everyone's kind of looking at, and he's be a good guy also because he's a center iceman, can win some draws, and that's where Minnesota really has faltered this year, chasing all the time because they don't win the draws, Kevin. So we'll wait and see what happens. But you know what? They've got a number of players on that Islander team who have connections to Minnesota.
Yeah, they do. Perenovich is the latest one coming over in a trade from the St. Louis Blues, but that Brock Nelson, so much fun. And maybe we've paid special attention to guys like that because he's got those Minnesota ties, but what a true professional in the National Hockey League. This one from Richard in Mesa, Arizona. He's thinking that, you know what, why not move Jared Spurgeon up to forward in a game like this? He skates so well. He's so smart. What do you think about moving Spurge, the captain, up to a forward position when you're shorthanded?
Well, being a former defenseman, I think it's much better than much smarter back in the defensive position. Wouldn't you say that? Or
not? I know you would say that.
No, I think his position is right for him. He's not a big, heavy guy that a lot of times you're going to need in front of the net at the opposite end, but he plays so smart. You watch him, his stick is always in the right position. He's always in the right position. And when he goes into a corner and do a scrum of any type, usually he comes out with the puck. And we saw that right from day one. Here's a guy who's played over 900 games now for the Wild, and I never thought he'd play one game. But he proved me wrong, which is great. And I love to see it. He's not only a great player, but he's a great person off the ice and how he treats his counterparts on the ice.
Yeah, another great professional. We talk about Brock Nelson and Jared Spurgeon also right in line with that. I like this question from Sam in St. Paul. 2 of his favorite players on this Wild team are emerging as this season goes along. Yakov Trenyan and Marat Husnandinov. He says they're a couple of his favorite players and have been continuing to rise over the last few weeks. What are they doing different now compared to the first half of the season?
I think they're much more engaged than they were at the beginning, and I think both those players certainly bring something to the table. And I think when you have success, when you're winning games, when you're getting points and you're getting goals, assists, points, whatever, even hits sometimes with Trennan because he's a big, strong guy, then all of a sudden your ability to do some things on the ice certainly rises to the occasion. I think both those guys have done a good job, and I know some people didn't like Trennan in the beginning, and I said, just give him some time here, because I think you're going to see this guy, once he finds how good he can be at his size, he's a big body out there, and we're seeing that now, and I think the more physicality he has, the better he's going to be.
Without a doubt. This text says it's from Gary in Vietnam. I'll take his word for it, but Gary's question is, for a guy that's been around this game for so long, how do coaches decide which goaltender to go with on any given night?
Well, it isn't just the coach. I mean, all the coaching staff get together, and of course, Freddie Shabbat is the guy who really deals with the goaltenders all the time, game in and game out, and he has his opinion. They have to look at how each of the goaltenders have responded playing against the opposition that time, against certain players that time, and then you put it together and you mix it up and you throw it out, and whatever one the dart lands on, that's the one you pick. So, but there's really I don't want to say scientific, but there's a lot of thought goes into who your goaltender is, and you have to look to make sure you put them in a place where they're going to succeed too. You don't want to put them in an area that it's going to be be tough for them, because once you lose that control and you lose that ability to be able to win games, your confidence level dips, then you're in trouble.
Part of the thinking in making any of the decisions the coaching staff makes these days, and the management for that matter, is the use of analytics. I don't think they used much analytics in the 60s and 70s when you were a player. What do you think of the emergence of analytics and how it's really infiltrated its way across the world of sports, not just in the National Hockey League?
I was going to mention that it's not just hockey; it's all over the place. But I mean, there's certain things you can pick up from it, but it's still the game is played on the ice, and you hope that you have the right numbers and that they're in the position you want them to be. The analytics are going to help you. Certain players, and here's what you're doing in certain situations. That will, I think, take it to heart for the players when they can actually see what's happening, when they have video and they have numbers in front of what's happening here. Then I think it's good for it. But you still have to play the game on the ice, and it changes every second.
Before we wrap up this edition of Tom Reed's Hotline, more sad news. We lost Willard Eichela within the last couple of weeks. Thursday night, we lose Dick Meredith, former Golden Gopher, another guy that represented Team USA on an international stage. Dick Meredith passed away at the age of 92, a name that I know you're very familiar with.
Yeah, I mentioned this also at the beginning of the third period when Joe and I were talking here, and a good friend, certainly for the hockey world, and he certainly will be missed. But he was a competitor. Played in the 56 Olympic team and won the gold in 1960.
Crazy stuff. Rest in peace. Condolences to the Meredith family. I know they still dot the landscape all across the great state of hockey. Thomas, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Tom Reed with Tom Reed's Hotline. Oh, someone's getting a pair of tickets to an upcoming Minnesota Wild game. You want to go? You can. Even if you don't get the text, you can still do so at wild.com/hockey tickets. Trust me, I'm not lying. The Wild lead the Islanders 4-3. They were down 3-1 at one point. Now they lead 4-3. We'll give you an update next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Experience Super Bowl 59 on the SiriusXM app. Catch interviews with the biggest names in sports and entertainment live from New Orleans.
This is Kenny Chesney.
Flavor Flav, boy! Previews and predictions from the experts.
They have to keep the lid on Saquon Barkley's explosive runs.
Music specials to get you pumped for kickoff.
Kendrick Lamar is considered the best rapper of this generation.
And on Sunday, hear the game, instant post-game reaction, and more.
All gas, no break!
Just search Super Bowl on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About whatever how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Well, at one point, the Wild trailed the Islanders 3-1, but in the span of just under 7 minutes, the Wild scored 3 times. Freddie Goodrow, Matt Boldy, and Yakov Trenyan all in the final 6.5, 7 minutes of that second period. They now lead the Islanders 4-3. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Everything is better on ice.
Eagles his way in, Provorov cuts in, and scores!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Wild were outshot 14-9 in the second. Two-period total of 22-21 in favor of the Islanders. Philip Gustafson between the pipes. 12 saves in the middle frame, 19 saves through 2 periods. Thus far, the Wild are 1 for 2 on the power play. The Islanders are 0 for 1. Wild 4, Islanders 3. Third period is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Visit Parlor St. Paul before or after the Wild game or anytime for great food, drinks, and service. Located on West 7th. Go ahead and make a reservation before the puck hits the ice. Parlor St. Paul is here to celebrate the wins and help forget about the losses, and they're here for the long run. This neighborhood establishment is celebrating 6 years of tasty burgers and craft cocktails. On game days, enjoy complimentary valet parking and half off your first 2 tap beers or house wines from puck drop to close. Located on West 7th, it's Parlor St. Paul.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
Why is my skin breaking out? What is this spot, and why isn't it healing? We all have questions about our skin, and Tureen Dermatology has the answers. With 24 board-certified providers, Tureen Dermatology treats all skin conditions and skin types. Don't delay your routine skin check or getting that odd, funny spot check. Count on Dr. Mohiba Tureen and her team to have all the answers to your skincare concerns. Visit TureenDermatology.com. That's Tareen Dermatology.com. You'll get in within 3 weeks. Tureen Dermatology. You've got questions, they've got answers.
Tired of those sad, puny little cookies that leave you wanting something better? Try T-Rex half-pound cookies. Yes, that's right, people. Half a pound. Find us at every Minnesota Wild home game, because who wants a snack that's smaller than a puck? Oh, and for those of you who can't wait, grab our frozen cookie dough at your local grocery store and pretend you made them yourself. Or come visit us at our bakery in Eagan. T-Rex cookie, because life's too short for tiny treats.
Back here in St. Paul, the Wild 4, the Islanders 3. We are ready for the third period. Joe Donald, Tom Reed with you. Minnesota didn't have a second period goal in each of its last 3 games and just 2 over the last 5 games. But they got 3 in the middle frame tonight, and they've got a 1-goal lead because of it. TR, what are you looking for in the third?
Well, I want Minnesota to start up the way they finished off in that second period. The second, 10, 12 minutes was very, very good. It's been a good game on both sides here right now. Minnesota's got a little bit of an edge here, but in goals, but that can change in a hurry as we saw what happened in the second period.
Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the third. Islanders from left to right. Inestroza spins over the offensive blue line left side, threw one in front, getting his stick tied up, and then having to literally kick the puck in front was Goudreau, but legally wrapped up, say the officials, and Sorokin jumps on top of him.
Yeah, but we see him going for that blue paint there, and that's the one thing I think that the coaching staff has to be happy with, the fact that Minnesota's getting bodies to that area. Face off deep in the Islander zone. Remember when the Wild played against the Islanders in '81 in the Stanley Cup final? Talking to Butch Goring, who's a member of that club also, and he got cut with a stick on his tongue. He had 40 stitches in his tongue. I said, did you eat a lot of salty food? Can you imagine? Really?
No. I didn't know that your tongue was big enough to have 40 stitches.
He said there's very little pain with it, though.
That also is stunning.
Yeah, that's what I said. But he was a forward, so you have to understand it.
Yeah. 50 seconds, play to the third.
Great guy, though.
Both teams have just
puts a long time.
Changed up. Drive by D'Angelo off the rush. Chested and held on to by Gustafson.
Well, join us for our Women of the North Power Play event, sponsored by Woody Creek Distillers. On February the 25th, this package includes a pregame networking event, your game ticket, and much more. Get more info at wild.com/powerplay.
Off the face-off, left side, Middleton was a helper here tonight. Knocks it free. Rossi, cars behind the Wild net, floated off. Zuccarello let it come free out through center where Boldy pressures. Boldy steals on the forecheck. Matt Boldy right circle, a side angle shot. Kick save Sorokin. Rebound to Middleton, tossed in front. That leaks just wide.
Boldy much more engaged, Joe, in this game than we've seen in some of the games past.
Faber started ahead. Boldy to Zuccarello on a snapshot inner half of the left circle, held on to by Sorokin.
And you know and I look at a guy like Boldy, and all of a sudden he's playing with the confidence, and he knows that he's called upon to get goals, to get assists, to make plays, and so on. But when it actually happens, then all of a sudden the confidence level goes up, and you're able to make some of those plays that sometimes are impossible to do.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he does the Four Nations face-off, and what comes thereafter is off the draw. Merrill a shot. Sorokin the save. Husadinov won a battle for the rebound. Got it to the point, Merrill. Right side, Bogosian. His chance rattled around. Hacking at it, Trenton. It goes to the corner. And I say that about the Four Nations face-off Boldy because I remember very early in the season when Boldy started on time, if you will, producing points at a good clip. John Hines said that he thought the World Championships this past summer really helped Boldy with the details of the game and almost allowing him to recognize just how good he could be. As a drive by Husadinov from long range is again swallowed up by Sorokin. So it's a best on best. Can a player like Boldy get more confidence if he goes and has a good showing?
Absolutely. When you play international competition, when you're going against other countries, I mean, you look at the Olympics and how much fun that is for everybody. And there's no question that this event coming up, number one, reminds me like the mini Olympics. It really is. You got Sweden, you got Finland, you got U.S., and you got Canada. Those four teams. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll host and show all these games at the pub also, because I think there's going to be an influx of people wanting to watch and see what happens.
Here's Bogosian at the right point as the Wild won the faceoff. Bogosian offers it down low. Pellick cut it off ahead of Boldy, and a left wing breakout pass. Pierre Engvall, the former Toronto Maple Leaf Skies, to center. Bogosian cuts it off. Back at his own blue line, Zach Bogosian fanned on his first try, then nudged it along. Boldy steps over the blue line right circle. Backhand, forehand, stick handling along the boards is Boldy. Cycled it off Zuccarello. Zuccarello fought through a check of Gatcomb, and his pass just got away from Brodin. It comes all the way on Gustafson, who uses his goal stick to flip it ahead. Boldy was waiting for it. He'll risk a long shot left side. It's going over the net. Sorokin caught it, dropped it off for his team. Wild now finishing a line change. Perunovic, Kyle Palmieri. Palmieri couldn't get past a couple of green jerseys. Well defended there by Freddie Gaudreau. It's Frisbee to long. Johansson's got a break. Took a shot, and he pushed it just wide.
Oh, boy. Great effort. Good skater. Just shot out wider than that.
Johansson now offers one for the left wing boards. Blocked wide. Hinostroza digs it free. Hinostroza coming out of the left wing corner, protecting this puck nicely. At the blue line, Brodin shrugged along for Spurgeon, and is offering from the point right side deflects off the glass. Where Johansson goes to work. It's pride-free Hinostroza. Labeled it to the right point, Spurgeon. Flopped along Brodin, a shot. That's in the belly of Sorokin.
And look at the number of shots getting to the net now. They're not getting blocked. Minnesota's done a good job of being able to filter that puck all the way through to the front of the net there. And they've got bodies standing there in case there's a rebound. And Sorokin not giving up a lot right now. As he grabs onto that one, that'll bring the face-off to his right, I believe.
TV monitors show that puck was knuckling up on edge when Johansson let it fly after he split the defense and got to that aerial feed. Again, go back to what John Hines said this morning, a blue paint game. Said the Islanders are really good. They're going to dump pucks in. They're going to get pucks to the net. They're going to forecheck hard. But he said the other end, you can get some offensive zone tries in front of their cage with tips and screens and rebounds. And look at the goals the Wild have scored here. Tom, here's another chance right on cue. Trenyon alone in front, tipped one, but Sorokin had the answer.
And once again, that shot comes as a direct result of winning the faceoff.
Faber hacks it along. Left side at the red line. Middleton bangs it in. Boquist shuffled it free. Cizikas peels it back behind his own net. Adam Boquist charges to it, the former Blackhawks first rounder. Middleton crept in to keep the Wild in business. It is Foligno serving it around looking for Trenyon. Cizikas there. He'll squeeze it back and a stretch pass out of his own zone. D'Angelo able to help things through center. Cizikas rumbles in, getting to that loose puck, playing it behind the Wild net. Middleton tried to reverse. Horvat was there for a moment, checked nicely by Faber. To the loose change, Hustadino. And now Marcus Foligno for Minnesota spins back and rolls it to his own slot. Middleton to Faber, saucered along Foligno, cut past the check and got it up to Freddie Gaudreau. He was unable to force it deep into the Islanders' end. Scott Perunovich now. Perunovich weaving past some trouble, found Horvat. Bo Horvat couldn't get it past the reach of Gaudreau, and it's angled back out to center. 27-23 the shots in favor of Minnesota. They led 1-0. It was short-lived. They trailed 3-1, rallied, tied it, and under a minute later took their second lead of the game. That's where we stand here in the third. 5 minutes gone by in period 3. The Wild in front by a goal. Perunovich sailed it in. Spurgeon gloved it down. Headman to Rossi. Rink wide feed Zuccarello. He's got some room. Charges in. Took a shot. Sorokin the save. Looked behind him, but he's got it for a whistle.
Yeah, Zuccarello does a nice job of receiving that pass also. Being a left-hand shot coming in on that left side, you can just see him taking a look there. He's going to be boxed off to the side there, so he took a quick release of that puck right down the netminder, and with that is Minnesota's 28th shot of this hockey game.
Rossi on the face-off. He'll deal with Brock Nelson. It's to the right of Sorokin. Islanders chip it out to center. Brodin whips it to Spurgeon. Filtered back to Jonas Brodin for a head-manning pass. Boldy deflects in, looking for Zuccarello. Get to a cut to his backhand. And Elite just wide. That bouncing puck just wouldn't settle down.
Yeah, it was bouncing too much for him.
Well, it's a couple of times where the Wild have sort of sailed a puck into open ice and let their forwards go to work. Not even so much on the forecheck, but hunting down those pucks. Spurgeon feeds Rossi off the rush. Rossi curls up right side. Now through the high slot, behind the back dish. Merrill a shot, blocker saves Sorokin. And the rebound jarred away from trouble by Palmieri, but he was stripped. Boldy powers back in. Matt Boldy protecting. Shove on in front, they score! Zuccarello! In tight, jammed it home, and the Wild are in front 5-3.
Boy, Minnesota now with 4 straight goals in this hockey game to take that lead. You call it, Joe, and Minnesota doing the job they have to do. This coming at 5 minutes and 53 seconds of the period. But Minnesota just controlling things also. Coming in the offensive zone here, and, once again, and the coach talks about getting to that blue paint. That's exactly what they've done here once again. And what a play by Boldy. Right out in front there, and there's Zuccarello coming in from the side there. Gets a piece of it. Puts it over the stick side, and Minnesota now has a 2-goal lead. This at 5:53.
Tom, I'm wondering if D'Angelo didn't swat that into his own net. And it might be Boldy's second of the game.
No, we're going to find out here momentarily.
Back to live action. And the Wild get this puck out to the neutral zone. Johansson feeds Bogosian over the blue line right side, tossed it back of the net.
Scoring for Minnesota! 20th goal of the season, second of the game for number 12, Matt Boldy. Unassisted at 5:53.
So D'Angelo has had 2 pucks go in off him. The Gaudreau power play goal that gave the Wild certainly a lot of life. At the time it was 3-1. Gaudreau fired a shot. And again, a couple of glances looked like it went off D'Angelo and got past Sorokin. And this one, Boldy, tough angle, just tries to get it to the goal mouth. Good idea in any situation, of course. And as Zuccarello was working to swat it home, it was D'Angelo that literally chopped it into his net, it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, Joe. You got a lot better eyes than I do, that's for sure. But there's no question. I thought it was Zuccarello may have gotten a piece of that.
Here's Trenyon carrying in. Side angle shot at the outside net. Initially live. Again, I called it Zuccarello, but that replay looked like it was anything but. So, timeout here. 12:53 to go in the third period. One more look on the TV monitors. And, oh, yeah, D'Angelo gave the Wild a gift. It's 5-3 Minnesota in the third. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. So whether you're a diehard fan or just vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Minnesota with 4 straight goals, 3 in that second period, 1 here in the third period, with Boldy getting his 20th of the season. And Minnesota has a 2-goal lead here with 12:53 to go in period number 3. Shots right now 29-23 in favor of the home team.
Off the draw, Islanders can't clear. Middleton held in for a moment. Second chance, New York skates through center, Romano. Anders Lee center. It was jabbed away from Holmstrom, and Middleton finishes it, then dumping Holmstrom right in the Wild slot. Trenyon knuckles it loose. Middleton escapes pressure, skating to his left, and then flicks it right up in the air. Another long home run feed where the Wild are just trying to win a battle in a foot race, and they do again. It comes to the point, Middleton a drive on court tie and wide. I wonder if that was something they talked about, Tom, at the second intermission, because it's like the third time in this period where they've just flipped the puck ahead and gone after it with some intensity and some will.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Joe. The fact the intensity of this level of this game has been tremendous. Right from the drop of the puck. And on both sides, but Minnesota really has taken charge.
The Wild, after dropping 4 straight at home, trying to win back-to-back games. The final game for both teams for the Four Nations face-off. There are just 2 games on the NHL docket tomorrow. One of them involving Utah, and I mention that because they're a team on the outside looking in, but close enough to that wild card spot where everybody in the West keeping an eye on what they do. They're at the Capitals after getting thumped today. The Utah Hockey Club losing in Carolina. 11 and a half minutes left in this one. The Wild 5, the Islanders 3. 4 in a row unanswered for Minnesota after New York took a 3-1 lead, the 7:17 mark of the second. Been easy for the Wild to pack it in, Tom, given the fact the long break starts tomorrow, but they've done anything but that as icing here on Minnesota.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They have not sat back at all, and they were down by 2, but you know what? They kept going to the net. Go to the net, and you're getting opportunities right now to make some good things happen, and you got to win some draws here, and that's the other part of the plight of Minnesota this year. Home has not been kind to Minnesota. Coming into it, they're 500, I believe, coming into this one here. But right now they've got a pretty nice lead, but that, as we know, it can change in a hurry.
Off the face-off, Adam Boquist, a shot tipped, saved by Gustafsson.
And that'll get another change of personnel on the Minnesota side. Of course, being the home team, they get the last change. Face-off will be to the left of Gustafsson.
All right, Tom, as a former defenseman, take me through what is going on in Tony DeAngelo's mind. They showed him on the Islanders bench shaking his head after the second puck he put into his own net, essentially. Went over to Sorokin, tapped him on the back. I'm sure he said, my bad. As a defenseman, when you have a game like that where pucks are just bouncing off you and unfortunately going in your own net,
well,
what do you do?
It's happened to me. Playing against Washington with him, 2 pucks went off of me into the net. Cesar Maniaga was a goaltender, and I thought, well, I'm going to take care of business now. And I went to go into the corner and hit somebody, and I got my stick up too high and hit one of my own teammates in the head. So I went back to the bench and said, please get me off the ice before I hurt somebody.
Did you go for the own goal hat trick that night?
No. It turned out, it got better. Those were tough games, and sometimes you have no control.
TR, let's be honest, there's nowhere to go but up.
That's exactly right.
There's Chisholm racing back for a loose puck, and the Wild dressing 7 defensemen and 11 forwards this evening. Joel Eriksson unable to go. Of course, Kaprizov and Lauko still on IR. Islanders ravaged by injuries, we talked about a couple times tonight. Icing here on Minnesota. 10:19 left. It's 5-3 Wild.
We'll join the Wild on February the 25th for our first Crohn's and Colitis night. Package includes a ticket to catch the Red Wings and the Wild, plus access to a pregame event with former Gopher and Wild player Jordan Leopold, who navigated this disease through his NHL career. Be a part of the cure at wild.com/. Pat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Had to find the word.
That was the word I'm looking for there.
It was under my thumb.
Dramatic. It was
under my thumb.
It was dramatic, the pause. It's wild.com/pack. Chisholm just sailed a puck into the stands. Did it deflect? Officials, of course, talk about these scenarios. 10:01 left. And Chisholm was trying to sneak off and go to the bench. The officials say,
Oh, boy.
Power play for the Islanders.
Minnesota number 47, minor penalty for delay game.
Well,
sorry, Tom. Through 2 periods, you said Chisholm didn't play a shift in the first.
Yeah.
He only played 1:21 in the second. And here he is out halfway through the third. And he is guilty of a delay game call.
Yeah, 9:59 the time. I just said earlier, Minnesota stayed out of the penalty box. That's been a big plus, but they're in the box right now.
Chisholm was a +1 Thursday, was a 25-year-old, as John Merrill was the healthy scratch. Again, since Brodin's come back, the Wild have had to sit somebody. Travis Dermott has played just once for the Wild over the last 9 games before this when he scratched again tonight. Well, essentially 8 healthy defensemen. Nelson in with a shot. Good stick save. Gustafsson flex that up into the netting on a clean look from Brock Nelson, who's already scored tonight.
Yeah, Brock Nelson took that shot and knocked the stick right out of the goaltender's hands also. Gus just reaches down, picks it up, and he's ready to go again. Win the draw. Defensive zone draw. We talk about them, as you know.
.951 left. Islanders power play 0 for 1. They win this draw. Perunovic to Nelson, right circle. At the hash marks, up top Perunovic. Left side it comes. Shooken back to Perunovic. Watched by Goudreau. Joined by Middleton, Foligno, and Bogosian on the PK. Nelson offers one on the goal line. Siplikov up top. Open Perunovic. Fumbled it for a moment. Got it back. Faked the shot. Nelson right circle. Try to center. Blocked. Hit Freddie Goudreau. Nelson rescues it. To the point Perunovic. Able to weave past some trouble here. Perunovic centering. Palmieri angled it into the corner. Gustafsson looks to his left. Siplikov to Nelson. Cross ice pass. It's handed up top. Boquist a shot. That's in the belly of Gustafsson. And no rebound.
Gus very focused in this game also. He's done a great job of beating those pucks head on. Takes that one into the midsection. Grabs onto it. That'll bring the face-off to his right. Still 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the penalty to Chisholm of Minnesota. Both teams have had 2 power plays in this hockey game. This is the second one for the Islanders.
Gustafsson with 21 wins on the year, tied for 6th in the NHL. Stopped 37 shots the other night against Carolina. Sorokin, of course, playing both games in this back-to-back for the Islanders as Minnesota wins a battle off the draw, and it's lifted down by Faber.
That was a good battle also. Minnesota gets the puck down the ice. That helps kill off some of those valuable seconds on the PK.
It's one of those 50-50 pucks right off the draw, and the Wild came up with it. Bo Horvat to Lee, back to Horvat, dance one in front, and Holmstrom whiffed on it at the back post. A little unselfish there in my estimation from Horvat, but he had his man, Holmstrom. He just couldn't put it home.
Yeah, the net was wide open.
38 seconds to go on the power play. Islanders try to come over the line again. They will. Duclair right side. Anthony Duclair sends it to the point. D'Angelo played 27 minutes last night for the Islanders. Duclair right circle. Anthony Duclair signed July the 1st in the offseason. Now eventually Horvat, center shot off the goalpost. Holmstrom from long range, but the iron unkind, and the Wild drill it down.
I'm going to go down and kiss that post.
Here's Horvat back over the line. Islanders trying to catch the Wild on a change with their power play winding down. Quickly back in the offensive zone. The Islanders in the dying seconds of their power play. D'Angelo at the left point. Just churns it down low. Spurgeon bumps Duclair. The puck jostled free then for Horvat. Off to the captain, Anders Lee. Then to Duclair, and he threw it to a vacated point as D'Angelo had crept in, and the Wild get a break here. They can change on the fly.
I don't know where that defenseman went, but he must have gone to the restroom or something.
5-on-5 hockey, 7:40 left. The Wild lead by a pair here in St. Paul. Islanders deflected in. Middleton back. Tried to jar it off his end wall. That was blocked and broken up. Nelson swooped to it, found a man at the point, Boquist. Now it's Romanov chiseling it down back of the cage. Siplikov and Middleton come together. Middleton lost his footing in that battle. Gets back to his skates, and the puck leaks free for Boldy. Matt Boldy forcing it to Rossi. Rossi just snaps one into the right wing corner. Faber charged to it first. Carries around the Islanders net. Here's Brock Faber to the point. Middleton, a shot. Blocked out in front. Boldy trying to jab it free. Couldn't. And the Islanders carry along with Palmieri. Good play by Zuccarello to just force him off the puck. Rossi curls to the neutral zone. Bolts ahead. Chip and chase Marco Rossi. Out of the right wing corner. Spun off a hit. Labeled it up top. Brodin attacks. High slot it comes. Zuccarello all the way to the left wing boards. Fired a shot. It ricocheted around. And Siplikov will handle it for the Islanders. So after getting that penalty kill taken care of, the Wild need to probably push the pace a little bit more, Tom. You don't want to sit back with this Islanders team, even though you're up by 2.
Yeah, you're up by 2, but you don't want to sit back. You got to this point because you're being very aggressive with the puck, moving the puck to the offensive zone. Don't sit back now, but you have to think of the defensive part of the game, too, when something happens.
Islanders from deep in their own zone. It's Perunovic to lug it along. He'll find Duclair. Trying to step past Hinostroza. One to the center. Batted away. To his right wing corner goes Brodin. Then Goudreau, good patience to shift past some trouble and just get it out to the neutral zone. Islanders flop it back in. Cizikas and Spurgeon go to the glass. Goudreau snaps a feed right side Hinostroza. Kept it coming. Johansson all by himself. 2 Islanders back. Marcus Johansson left wing wall. Got past one check. Shifted past another then. Johansson will weave it around the wall. The support coming from Devon Shore. He's checked there by Gatcomb. Mark Gatcomb, just his 3rd career NHL goal last night. And his 12th career NHL game here today. This Islanders team. And Susadinov at center spears it in. 5:20 left. Wheeling through his own slot, D'Angelo. Now starts to go north with the puck. Navigates through center. Feathered it to the left wing side. Lee snapped the shot at the outside of the net to the right of Gustafsson. Back behind the Wild cage. Lee able to emerge. There goes Sorokin to the bench for the extra attacker. With 5 minutes left. Down a pair. In the slot, D'Angelo fires. He was knocked down in front. Loose puck outside the goal mouth. Gustafsson reaching for it, and it was just chiseled wide. Broken stick is out of Husnudinov as Merrill tried to swat it out. Couldn't. Husnudinov without his stick. Trying to defend, and the Islanders misplay a pass back through center. Goes into the New York zone.
Yeah, big plus for Minnesota.
Islanders out of their own slot now with D'Angelo. Fights his way to center, rifles it in. Gustafsson watches it rattle around the glass. Faber right wing corner, pinned up initially. A log jam here. Islanders springing free. Horvat in the final 4:20 of the 3rd. Threw it in front. Gustafsson fought it off. Foligno backhands it all the way down. Knuckling, rolling puck. He scores! From
Huge goal. I'm sure he practices that all the time on the backhand, I would think, from one end to the other end. But, it's what a huge goal, and takes some of the pressure off right now out of the Minnesota defensive zone. But the assistant captain does what he does so well, and that's just work so hard. That's his 10th goal of the season, and an empty net goal. Minnesota's done a good job of doing that. Big smile on the faces of all the guys with the green helmets on. And this goal coming at 15 minutes, 46 seconds of the third.
Well, Tom, Patrick Waugh's first head coaching stint with the Avalanche, he kind of made this whole pulling the goalie early popular at the NHL level. I don't know where he got it from. I had seen it in the minor league days with a coach by the name of Kevin Constantine. When I was in Houston, he'd pull the goalie sometimes with 7, 8, 9 minutes left if he felt like it. But at the NHL level, it was kind of Patrick Waugh that brought this thing onto the scene that we see a lot now, 2.5, 3.5 minutes to go. A lot of coaches are doing it. Waugh here tried it with 5 minutes left, and the Wild take advantage.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Here's the call.
Marcus Foligno. Unassisted at 15:46. Foligno.
Islanders center, Palmieri lost it into the corner. You were saying about being aggressive, getting that goaltender out really early.
Yeah, and especially if you have a power play on the opposite side, because darn well that they're going to have an extra couple of guys out there. So you really have to work hard at it. You have to look at the surroundings. But right now, Minnesota does not want to draw another penalty. Because if they do that, then all of a sudden I think you're going to see the goaltender pulled again.
It's a 6-3 lead for the Wild. 3:45 left as Gustafsson covers up a loose puck in his goal mouth. And we'll step aside for the final time. See if the Wild can pick up the 2 points in the standings when we come back. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Well, 3:45 to go here in the third period. Shots right now 32-30 in favor of the home team. But at the same time, the most important thing is that they have a 3-goal lead here at 6-3.
Tom, the Four Nations face-off is this week. We talked about it. 5 Wild players representing 2 countries, between Sweden and the U.S. Do you have a favorite in the Four Nations face-off?
Yeah, I've looked at the different ones, and the order I would put Canada number 1, I'd put U.S. number 2, I'd put Sweden number 3, and Finland number 4. That's the way I see it at this point. Now, that first game is going to be on February the 12th. It's Canada against Sweden, and all these games will be on TV, which is great. That'll be at 8 o'clock start, I believe, Eastern time. So it should be kind of fun. We'll have everything on at the pub as well. Might do some specials also during that time.
Back to live action. Bogosian carries the Wild ahead. Backhands it in down low.
And Joe, going back to that Four Nations Cup, the thing is, you're representing your country. You don't want to look stupid out there. Remember the Olympics in, I think it was 2004, that Sweden got beaten and they put their pictures on the front page of the paper, every picture of the players, and wrote criminal at the top.
Wow. Well, let's hope we don't have another situation like that. By the way, the NHL Morning Skate, which is sort of their daily publication with some news and notes from around the league, talking about games that night and what happened recently. They noted that the USA and Canada have gone head-to-head in an international tournament 11 times, including 2 meetings in the championship round. Canada against the U.S. 10-3-1 in those 14 games through that span. Those international tournaments where they've met head-to-head, the Canada Cup, World Cup of Hockey, and now the four nations face it.
Yeah, now the question is Crosby going to be able to play? And right now we don't know. And of course, he's supposed to be the captain of Canada. He wants to play, but is he capable? Because he's got some type of a nagging injury that's been bothering him.
And Crosby did not play tonight against the Flyers. Game the Flyers beat the Penguins 3-2. 2:15 left, Wild 6, Islanders 3. Remember, this was a 3-1 game in favor of New York. Engvall hustles to a giveaway, risks a shot. Gustafsson deflects it into the netting.
Yeah, that
2:05 to go.
That was a play you don't see Brodin make very often, but he gave the puck away, an errant pass on that one. So we get the final timeout of the period.
Yeah, I lied earlier. There were 2 breaks left. This is the final break of regulation. 2:05 to go. The Wild 6, the Islanders 3. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Hey, Minnesota Wild fans. Fuel up for game day with Just Bear Chicken, the official chicken of the Wild. At Just Bear Chicken, we believe the best meals start with the best ingredients. That is why all our chickens are raised with no antibiotics ever, so you can enjoy delicious and nutritious chicken with confidence. Find Just Bear Chicken in the fresh or frozen aisle at your local grocery store today. And let's go Wild!
The NCHC Frozen Face-Off returns to Xcel Energy Center for one last showdown. It's the end of an era as 4 teams collide on March 21st and 22nd to crown a champion in the state of hockey. Don't miss the last call in St. Paul. Get your NCHC Frozen Face-Off tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Be there for the last call in St. Paul.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
.205 to go here, period number 3. Minnesota with a 3-goal lead, 6-3 face-off deep in the Minnesota zone to the right of Philip Gustafsson.
The Wild closing in on a 8-1-0 record against the Metropolitan Division. They can hang on here in this one. Boquist right circle shot blocked away by Ogren. Stays in play. Boquist races to it. Back of the net, Lee carved out near the goal line. Middleton pried it free. Islanders hold in. D'Angelo patrols the blue line. Lopped it loose. Horvat tried to center. Deflects to the right point. D'Angelo takes a look. Looked at rink wide for a drive that hit Faber. Kicked around the blue paint. Gustafsson dives on top of it. Boy, let's hope Faber's okay. Again, Tom, we talked about the other night, when you can't protect yourself when a shot's coming in, sometimes catches you in a tough spot.
Yeah, you're right. And that puck went up in the air, too. Wanted to hit the body in front, and you could see Gus kind of looking for it. Finally found it and just reaches out and grabs onto it. And that'll get the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone.
As soon as that whistle blew, Faber started to just sort of grimace and double over and straighten up. And I mean, you know way better than me what that initial sting's like when that frozen piece of vulcanized rubber ricochets off a spot where you don't have a whole lot of gear.
No, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, right now, at this point in the game, you got a 3-goal lead. You don't want to get hurt. That's for sure. In Favor, of course, one of those players are playing for the U.S. in the Four Nations Cup.
Faber talking to Brian Grogeski, one of the athletic trainers on the Wild bench, kind of sitting sideways on the bench. $1:05 to go. Well, I talked about it a lot. I thought this might be a sleepier game. Anything but. When the Wild went down 3-1, did I expect them to be in front 6-3? No way. And did I think in the last couple of minutes we'd be able to just sort of not have a nail-biter here?
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah, what an effort by the Wild to rally, get 5 unanswered. Again, this Islanders team, I know they lost last night, and maybe the back-to-back caught up with them as this game moved along, but they came out ready, and they had won 8 of their previous 10. And now they are waving the white flag. minute to go as Perunovic saunters along, feeds Boquist, shoots it in from center. Some of the fans here decided to take an early exit. The rest on their feet. And why wouldn't they be?
Yep, I agree.
10 seconds to go.
Big effort.
Back in his own zone, just peels along, and that's going to do it. Standing ovation for the Minnesota Wild as they double up the Islanders 6-3 the final, as they score the final 5 goals in this hockey game, and they get back-to-back wins on home ice heading into the Four Nations face-off break. Win number 33 secured for the Wild, 70 points in the standings, and they're going to get some much-deserved time off after beating the Islanders 6-3 tonight in St. Paul.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. And you look at Minnesota's record home now in 26 games. They are over 500. Finally, they're at 13-12 and 13. Excuse me. They are looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, you had it.
Wrong sheet. Yeah, I was right the first time. I should have just stayed with it. But you look at their home record right now. In 26 games, they've gone 13-12 and won 27 points. And they played with a lot of intention this one. They're getting to the front of the net, getting to Boupain area, getting the opportunities and making the most of them.
Well, John Hines said they had to empty the tank. Said that this morning. Felt like they weathered a few storms, some adversity in this hockey game to say the least, and they empty the tank. The shots finish even, at least for the time being, 33-33. And what was a 3-1 Islanders lead, 7 minutes in the second period,